Welcome to the True Crown Cult channel. I am your host.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is part 2 of a discussion we started last Thursday. And I'm going to be dropping the link in the chat for my first guest, Miss Rock Chalk. And there you go, Miss Rock Chalk. Yeah, I've been taking notes on this video for half the day today. And I've got 2 pages of bullet points I'd like to go over with everyone during certain parts of the video. Hello, Rock Chalk.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How
Can
you
hear
doing
me?
today?
Okay. Good. How's chat doing? Hope everybody's good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
I
excited.
took 2 pages of bullet points. Yeah, I took 2 pages of bullet points today at certain for certain parts of the video.
Perfect. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. We're here for it.
Okay, here is Sophie, and Sophie, the link is in the chat for you.
Look at all them good mods you got out there too, and all them
100%.
subs.
I mean, I love when I'll just go into a food place here in town and somebody will tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, Steve." And a lot of people know me from football and coaching in the community. She works at a school. I work at a hospital. So everybody definitely makes you feel like you picked the right place to live.
And our page, we get so much
So
love
we're
on
already
our,
playing the
our
movie?
family page. It's
We're already
insane.
playing the show.
Worldwide, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
The comments. I mean,
I've got
I
bullet
could
points
just
I've
read them
made
forever and ever and ever
certain
and ever.
parts.
Okay.
I read them before I go to bed. I read them in the morning when I get
Hey,
up.
Sophie.
I always have a little bit of quiet time before start moving around.
Hi,
and
Sophie.
I open it up and
AR's
read
running
the
late.
comments, and
No problem.
there is a lot of amazing people out there.
People really feel connected to you
Yes.
guys.
Yeah.
And I feel it, that it's sincere. It's not just, I mean, people tell us they cry with us, that they share our grief, and they say, I know we can never bear the burden, but we do. Like, our family has cried over this. We talk about this. We follow this.
Yeah.
This has affected us, I mean, and not just one family. I mean, a lot of people.
Daily. There's some family.
There's always somebody. I mean, we get cards still, letters. I mean, handwritten letters from 92-year-old women. I'm a grandma of 30 kids, and and this and that, and just going on, and I'm sorry it's taken me so long to write. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, are you kidding? But I finally just had to do it. I just couldn't take it anymore, and just
And it's super helpful too, because having eyes and ears all across the world, they pick up things that you would not, you never see a story. We've gotten photos, videos from her friends that she grew up with that we would never have seen those photos. We've never would have got those videos. So that in itself was worth any of. Anything that we've gone through as far as somebody leaving a jerk comment or something like that, it doesn't bother me. But knowing that I'm going to get photos that I never would have got, and see people share, experiences and things that they did with our daughter, there's stories that we would have never known about. You want to know everything about your daughter.
You don't know them all down in college town, who she knew, and people say, hey, I just want to let you know that one night we were at a party and I actually met Kaylee and she played beer pong with me or something, and it's just like, thank you for that. You could totally visualize it. You could totally picture it.
And pictures with it,
Well, you mentioned going through her phone, there was pictures and.
Well, I was going through my messages with her on my phone.
On your phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
And we
going
don't
through old
have
messages.
Yeah.
We're trying to get her
I
phone.
can't wait to get hers one day, someday.
Oh, that's all still in evidence, obviously.
Some people got backups, but we never got one.
Yeah, just like what he said right there. Some people have got backups. Like Maddie's parents got a backup of her phone. Xana's dad got a backup of her phone, and Ethan's parents got a backup of his phone. Why didn't they get a backup of Kaylee's phone?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird.
And he's going to mention right here, this is one of my bullet points. He's going to mention right here that she had multiple laptops that are also sitting in evidence.
There was more complications with Kaylee's phone. So,
but going through your old messages.
Yeah, I just did. I haven't gone back and read through them. And over the weekend, I started reading, scrolling through and reading some of our messages.
I could have my phone out and Kayla would just grab it and say, Dad, we're taking photos. Yeah. Any of the girls will do that.
And you literally be like, oh my gosh, will you stop taking photos?
And
like, is that all you do?
And then you just send them to their phone.
I mean, and she'd be like, you know, and I'd be like, oh my God, you know, I'd be like, stop, like, don't get away, you know, like I run
different generation
from the camera. Yes. And I'm like, I'm so thankful. Like I yelled at her so many times, be like, put your phone away now. Don't you snap another picture.
Do you still, I think you mentioned to me, like, did you or do you still text her phone? I mean,
yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't got it turned off.
So you pay the bill.
Yeah.
And we hope to get it back. We eventually should get it back.
Is it comforting texting her?
Yeah, it's usually when, it just sucks because you just want her to reply so bad. So bad. And I go to our last message all the time, you know, and it's just crazy to me because I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing, what we were talking about. Me and Steven were out when she sent me that picture. And I would have never known that Kaylee would be dead in 12 hours from that picture. And Maddie, never. Both of them laughing their butts off.
Yeah, most parents don't get, for better or worse, we see the very last moments all the way. It was like a camera was following them around. Like,
it was,
that's why I feel like so many people relate to two girls laughing, one waving her arm, and they're talking about boys, and they were over at a club, and there's other boys there, and they're going and getting grub food, and she's like, oh, don't worry, I'll share it with you. It just seemed like you're watching their lives as it was just part of your life, and then you know what it ends, you know how it ends, and you're just like, there's
to know that he knew what he had planned, his plan, he was planning it out right then and there. As they were eating, he was planning on their murder right then and there. I mean, he was getting himself all hyped up, all dressed, packing his little bag.
And our children know.
Sickening.
Killing someone is just, that's God's decision. He decides when people come and go. You've got to be you got to be careful when you decide that. I know it's somebody's job, and that's a different circumstance when they go to war or they're a police officer. But as our kids, and they get mad and they say something, dirty or ugly to their siblings, we're like, no. You don't wish any of that on anyone, because that's just not acceptable. You got to apologize. I remember lining the kids up and making them apologize, and them getting so mad at me for making them do stuff. I try to embarrass them, make them do it in public, in front of people.
Make them kiss.
Yeah, make them kiss. You got to kiss your
right.
brother, and he'd just be like,
He didn't want it either. He's just like, no, like this is miserable for both of us. I don't want to kiss her. I don't want her lips on me.
You guys are so inspiring as a family, like, and even just the two of you, your relationship, like, just in the world we live in, there's a lot of people, marriages don't seem like yours, and especially with everything you've been through. I mean, that's nice to see,
Well, I guarantee you could come back in 20 years and if we're not dead, we'll still be together.
Yeah.
I ain't going nowhere.
I met her in college, and same type of thing that was going on with our kids, just going through that part of their lives, and
Yeah.
we wanted them to go through the same thing. And it was
He
a
was in
moment.
college. I was in high school.
Yes,
A
it's
little
true.
different.
A little bit different, but we made it through that, and we know that statistically this is super hard on all the parents' relationships. So we don't avoid it. We don't talk about it. We all come together and spend time as a family, make sure that we're listening to everyone.
We actually really have not argued at all, really, about. I mean, I get a little scared sometimes when him and Shannon start going on tyrants here and there, and I'm like, you guys are scaring me,
Yeah.
because it's just like you said, it's awkward and it feels very like not normal. Like you're not supposed to go call out the prosecutor or call out.
Right there. Kristi says it feels awkward to her to call out the prosecutor. Would it feel awkward to either one of you?
It would to me for the simple fact that it's in their hands and you don't want to upset the prosecutor. So, I mean, as much as you want to say it's kind of in their hands, you don't want to really upset them. I mean, that's just my thinking on it. But I would
Sophie?
call them out probably in my own case,
Yeah.
but I'm not like most.
Sophie, what do you think? Oh, we lost Sophie.
Maybe we need to drop
Wow.
that link again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like,
It's my daughter.
Yeah,
Nobody tells
but-
me.
Hear what he said right there? She's my daughter. Like he was excluding Kristi with that exact statement. She's my daughter.
I don't think that. I
And
think he's just being the alpha and he's standing up to the world and saying, she's my daughter. Like, I don't take it like he's doing it over her.
yeah.
But I mean,
it's just the
our
way it
daughter
came out,
might have been
you know.
better. Yeah, our daughter might have been better. But I mean, remember, he's being the alpha. But I mean, look how he's looking at her. Like, there's so much in there. I saw Ashley say that in the way they're reacting, there's a lot in this interview that I've seen it 1,000 times, and it's just, oh, always get something new.
Yeah.
Sophie might need the link again.
Okay. There you go, Sophie. What happened, Sophie?
I have no idea. I wasn't even by my phone. I don't, is it, I guess it might be StreamYard on my end, but that was weird.
Well, you're back. Welcome back.
Back.
Welcome back.
Thanks. All I heard was that my phone's, I like kicked off the screen. So, Robert, you said you had key talking points. Did I miss something in the last like 2 minutes?
Yeah. Kristi says it's awkward to call out the prosecutor. I've got a Rock Chalk's opinion on that. I want to get your opinion on that.
Well, I guess it's kind of awkward to call out either attorney side because we don't really know anything yet. But I could imagine calling out the prosecutor when you want them to like really be on your side as the parent. Yeah, that's got to be strange.
And before we start again, I gotta get something out of the way. Let me get to it.
Sure.
Go for it.
I gotta find it now.
While he's doing that, Sophie, Steve said it's my daughter, and I don't think he was discrediting his wife. He's just letting the world know it's my daughter.
Right.
He
Not
might
saying
have,
our daughter.
yeah. But you know what? I find with her, people, I see people talking about her nails and stuff in the chat. My nerves would be shot. Like, I give a lot to the Gonzalez. Like, it would take a
Yeah.
lot for me to get up there and do that. Sorry, I got a train. I'm going to mute. I got a train going by.
I think it would take a lot, just in general, to speak publicly at all afterwards. And I can see where the Chapins come from. I'd like to think that they're home with their remaining children and trying to like regroup and contain that or maintain. I mean the positive
Not only
values and
that,
things they have.
yeah, not only that, you
We-
don't want to piss off the people that's supposed to be helping you, even though, most cases they really work with the families and let them know everything that's going on. I mean, that
Right.
would be really nerve wracking as a parent. Not only are you grieving for your child and your child's friends, but you're not hearing anything. As far as we know, they're not being told anything.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Okay. Before I get started, I want to publicly address a matter. It was mentioned. Uh, it was mentioned that an email I received from a name Don't Dive was a corrupt email that crashed my computer. I want to be 100% clear. Don't Dive is a well-known friend of the show and a friend of true crime. She herself was being impersonated and is a victim in this email situation, too, as her good name was used. I want to take public accountability for making her name public in any way. Don't Dive is not associated with this with the corrupt emails. She has never sent a corrupt email, nor would she send a corrupt email. To Don't Dive, we appreciate your insights on panel. We invite you back to the panel as soon as you're ready, and we want to be 100% clear that whoever used her name for an email did so maliciously. Don't Dive, please accept the true crime cult community apology. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Like, I agree. I know who Don't Dive is as far as the community. She's very well respected. And I never for a minute thought that she would send something like that. She's a great person. Really wish she could have come back tonight, but I understand. And thank you for doing that publicly and apologizing. That's just awesome. And Don't Dive. We
Yeah,
all love you. Everybody in chat loves you. Like, I'm really sorry
absolutely.
that happened.
We do love you, Don't Dive.
Yes,
Yes,
we
I'm
do.
glad you said something, Robert. Thank you.
Yeah. Don't Dive.
But
We do want you to come back.
you know,
Yes, we do. Don't Dive.
Yeah.
We are always going to be connected.
And you'll always be my best friend.
All I
I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I mean, I'll do it. Don't make me do it. I will get ugly. But
And,
I
and
just can't.
99% of the time, it's all positive. It's just the times where you think maybe decisions being influenced by, pressures outside of what's best for the case that you.
Right there, Steve G is worried about outside influences interfering with the case.
Pressure, he said.
What type of what type of outside influence is he worried about interfering with the case?
Yeah. What do you think,
Media.
Rob?
I think the
Yeah.
media, outside influences, the media, maybe even, hate to say it, but the YouTube people. You know, everything is part of this. I mean, you know as well as I do, one story gets told that might be a little off. Next thing you know, it's on many channels. I'm not gonna say every channel, but many channels.
Yeah.
So things get turned around really easy.
Absolutely.
You got to put your foot down and say, okay, if you don't want to share what's going on here, then we'll be forced to make a statement. We'll have to do what's best for our daughter. That we really have to take that.
He went back and corrected himself. He said best for our daughter. But what did he mean by we will be forced to make a statement? What statement will they be forced to make?
Well, he's already said before that he's ready to be the alpha, but don't make him do that. And he also said there's going to be some families dragged through the mud, and they're ready for that too. So he knows that there's some things out there that might not be uh, appealing to other people watching, but he just wants to get to the bottom of it. And basically, what I get out of this is if they don't say it, he's going to, is what it sounds like to me. That's how I get it.
Yeah,
Same here.
I
What
think.
about you, Sophie?
Yeah, that's what I think too. Because he so desperately seems like he wants to alpha, right? Like he seems like a strong man, but I'm sure it's got to be really difficult not to say things sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it because I mean, I do know how they do it because it could hurt the case, but also it just, I don't know. It'd be so hard to hold back. I just, like I said, these parents, prayers to them. I don't know how they're able to do it.
Me neither. Me neither.
Now, here in a little bit, I feel like Steve, it's going to be played here in a little bit, but I feel like Steve is trying to bribe somebody because Steve said that if they get the job done, he'll take them out for dinner and beers.
No, I don't know. I'm thinking that, listen, a lot of people know what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
We all know that, but everybody's scared to speak up. What are they so scared of?
Yeah.
I find that really hard. And that's how I got it out of here, but I'm interested to watch it again. But basically, he's saying step up and he's going to treat you to a good meal or, kind of like a reward for speaking up type of thing.
Yeah. And then uh, Christy here in a minute is going to make a comment that the police stepped outside of their no, the police stepped outside their comfort zones. I don't know what the hell they meant by that. Here.
Stance.
Mhm.
There's nobody else that can do it at the same attention level that I think we can. Nothing against a prosecutor or anything, but I just don't know if they just can't be committed like a parent. A parent is
Mhm.
we're willing to do whatever we have to do. So
Maybe they are.
yeah,
Maybe they are.
I hope so. I would love to
We talk
underestimate.
about that. We do too. We're like, well, we hope.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of us, at least in the media, underestimated the police during the time.
We did.
So
We
maybe it'll
did.
be the same kind of situation.
Well, we talked with them one on one, and you looked at them and said, "Please just tell me that there's going to be somebody." And they stepped out of their comfort zones to comfort Kristi and the families to like. Hey,
Now, what do you mean by that? They stepped outside their comfort zones to comfort Christy and the families. Isn't that their job to do that with something like this happening?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's different kinds of police, right? So there's some police that are specifically meant to work with the public, where it's a police officer. He has all the same credentials as any other police officer. They're like community officers or the community policing officers. Like we were talking previously about, like somebody were to call the cops because somebody's dog was barking relentlessly forever. And they're not going to send, their head officer that needs to be paying attention to what's really going on in case there's something going on. They're going to send the community officers. So I think he means that I actually really think mostly he means those police aren't trained to work with people.
Rock Chalk?
I think they're trained to work with people, but I mean, this is a small town.
Hmm.
But I think a lot more goes on in this small town than they want the nation to know about
Hmm.
or anywhere. Also in the chat, I see that somebody asked, "Do you think Ellie and the prosecutor are being straight up with the families?" I will say no, but maybe there's a
I will
reason
say
for
no
it.
too.
Yeah, and maybe it's because it could harm the case more. That would be my opinion. Do I think it's fair to the families? No, I don't. But also, I've never seen a case like this. It is so all over the place. So many holes, so many alerts. There's just a lot.
Right. Like they're
Yeah,
not prepared. They couldn't have possibly been prepared for this ever.
Right, but they got to be real careful what they say too, because
Oh yeah.
everything you say and do will be held against you, even in the public's eye.
yeah.
So, I mean, You know, I wish they could be more transparent with the parents, but I also understand. I think when come trial, when everything gets out there, we're all going to be just with our jaw dropped.
And now, why do you guys feel that the other families aren't speaking out like them?
I feel
Like,
like that's like I'm a very much an extrovert. I'm very outspoken. I very much say what's on my mind. Some people are more introverted and they they don't really speak out. You know, we got a couple that's got other kids, so they're really careful because that brings a lot to their family. And believe
yeah,
me, you know, when you have something happen to a kid and you have other kids, you still you gotta do more comforting with the kids that's still alive too because they're grieving. So not only are you a parent grieving, you
yeah,
got to take care of your family, and it might be hard to step up and say stuff. Maybe they're waiting on the court system and Ellie, to come out with it all and solve this case. Whereas Steve is very much an extrovert, like me, and he wants his answers now. And I'm trying not to judge any of them. Like I understand each of them's point.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
Like
Go ahead.
later on in the video, Christy. Yeah, no, no. Now watch what Christy says later on. Uh, Christy mentioned that the other three families would be happy with a life sentence, but they would not. Yeah, yeah. Honestly think the Gonzalveses want Brian whoever did it dead, but the other three families would be happy, uh, with a life sentence because you'll hear something interesting. They'll actually invoke the name of BTK in this freaking video, and why they
Well,
don't want Brian and why they don't want Brian to have a life sentence.
well, I can't wait to
Hey,
hear
we're
that
on
part
top of
because
this. We
I'm from
got it.
here.
We're gonna.
And they
We
did.
know.
That was the only thing that I left that day when we met with them. It was like I believe it was December 13th, and I
It made a
asked them.
big
I
impact
said, I'm
on
going
you.
to ask you both. I said, who's in charge here? And they told us, and I said, I'm going to ask you about the same question. How do you feel? 0 to 100% that this case will be solved. And I asked him, and he said, he looked at me and he said 100%. And then I said, your turn. And he looked at me, and the second one looked at me very intensely. I mean, the first guy did too, but that look that I got from
Don't say it. Don't say because I
I'm not
won't get
gonna say
nobody.
I know, and I was like, and that was right around the time that they were swirling his name around, and he said, 100%, this will be solved. And I was like, that's all I need to know. And I had some peace in my
Whose name did he not want her to mention right there? That's very interesting. This is the first time I caught it because he said, don't mention his name."
Go back a little bit. I want to see his face.
They stepped out of their comfort zones to comfort Christy and the families to like, hey, we're on top of this. We got it. We're gonna.
and they
We
did.
know.
That was the only thing that I left that day when we met with them. It was like I believe it was December 13th, and I
It made a
asked them.
big
I
impact
said, I'm
on
going
you.
to ask you both. I said, who's in charge here? And they told us, and I said, I'm going to ask you about the same question. How do you feel? 0 to 100% that this case will be solved. And I asked them, and he said, he looked at me and he said 100%. And I said, your turn. And he looked at me, and the second one looked at me very intensely. I mean, the first guy did too, but that look that I got from
Don't say it. Don't say.
See, don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Who do
easy
you
to
think said
slip.
it?
I mean, they're nervous. They got a lot going on. He just don't want her. So now what I'm getting after watching it again, stepping out of their comfort zone. I don't want to say it's so much out of their comfort zone. Is maybe they gave them a little more information to keep them happy with the agreement that they wouldn't repeat it in public. So maybe that could be the stepping out of the comfort zone by going forward and letting them know a little bit more than they're supposed to. My opinion. I could be wrong.
I can see that. I
Yeah,
could totally see that.
yeah, Yeah, because she did mention that that was around the first time that his name was being swirled around. And then Steve goes, "Don't say it, don't say it."
Well, and he smiled about it because obviously that name has been going around. And it's, I mean, I can guess it, and I'm sure many people in the chat can guess it. So
Because
know,
I
I'm not
won't
gonna
get
say,
nobody.
I know, and I was like, and that was right around the time that they were swirling his name around. And he said, 100%, this will be solved. And I was like, that's all I need to know. And I had some peace in my heart for about a minute. and then I went back to, they got nothing. But I mean, I was like, I think they got something. I'm like, no, the way he looked at me, I'm telling you. And then, but yeah, you lose. You lose hope.
Well, you never. I don't know if you felt like you lost. It's just easy to fall into the negativity when, that's
putting your trust into someone else. Yeah.
That's
true. And I do regret, and I do wish I could see him again and hug him. I haven't been able to see him and hug him and tell him, you know what?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I do remember that.
That helps a parent.
I don't know if you
when
remember
this is all
looking at me.
over,
Yeah.
When
at
the end of the trial, hopefully you'll have that moment.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Does that kind of stuff happen?
I think so. Yeah.
Is that
Definitely.
kind of?
Yeah.
We talked about it. I told him. I said, "You guys nail this. Get this done. Dinner, beers on me."
Yeah.
We'll go.
See that smile and laugh right there? You guys get this done, and dinner and beers on me.
yeah, I'm just really curious because for some reason my brain is foggy tonight. But when exactly did the gag order come out? Does anybody remember that exact date? Because I'm foggy with it. If you do,
I don't.
Yeah, I think it came out maybe 3 or 4 months uh, after the crimes.
no, it
Right
seemed
after.
to come out quicker than that. That's January 5th or 7th. Right, Heather. Thank you. So December 13th, the gag order wasn't out yet. So what I'm going to say, to back up what I said a while ago, that the investigators, the homicide investigators, told them a little more than they should, but you got to keep this under wraps because this is what we're working on. There
Yeah.
wasn't a gag order at that time, and that's what I would say with that part.
And see what I don't understand, even with the gag order, they're the family of the victims. Why can't LE let them know what's going on in the case, since it was their daughter that was murdered by whoever did it?
I believe there's still a risk out there, and honestly, my own opinion, you know, where is all the evidence? I mean, it seems to be
Right.
falling apart. So, with that said, like I said, even when you're an LE, everything you say can and will be held against you. So you got to be really careful.
Yeah.
The gag order was filed on January 3rd.
Yeah,
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
We'll laugh about some of the struggles and some of the the conflicts that.
And he goes, he said, I can't wait till I could tell you everything.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I grew up in a very competitive, does about this tall, playing sports and everything. I always had a coach who told me, even if you thought you had the greatest game, you could get better. So I take that type of approach to this case, even if we have the greatest day, we get it. But is there more? Is there more? Like seeing the FBI there today is the type of thing that makes me feel like I don't like to see it boarded up and locked up and not know that I didn't see cameras filming through all the windows. Didn't see all. Now I see those things, and now I can let those things go.
Yeah.
And hopefully they are in there finding more evidence or something new. I mean, that would be amazing.
I feel like you've seen that community. We're gonna the ideal guy to get on that jury is a farmer who doesn't even have cable TV.
Yeah.
So to tell him he's got to watch a 3D render, it never made me feel right. That farmer's gonna be like, "No, I want to see it. I want to touch it."
Yikes, there's
Right there, he
a lot
said.
of static there.
Yeah.
Was that my phone or was that the video? I heard a lot of static.
I think it's the video because I got it too.
Did you hear what he freaking said right there?
No, you guys can show me this. I appreciate
do.
that.
I'm having feedback on my end. Okay, is that better, guys?
Way better. Thank you.
100%.
Yes.
Remember that?
That helps,
I don't know.
apparently.
You
Well, when
remember
this is
This
all
is my new
over,
freaking
you know, when
Yeah.
my
yeah.
new freaking headphones. They were causing feedback. But listen to what he said right here, guys.
We're gonna.
And they
We
did.
know.
That was the only thing that I left that day when we met with them. It was like, I believe it was December 13th. And
I went back just a little bit.
I
I'll
made a
see what
big
Scripture says here.
impact
I'm
on
going
you.
to ask you both. You know, I said, who's in charge here? And they told us, and I said, I'm going to ask you about the same question. How do you feel 0 to 100% that this case will be solved? And I asked him, and he said, he looked at me and he said 100%. And then I said, your turn. And he looked at me, and the second one looked at me very intensely. I mean, the first guy did too, but that look that I got from
Don't say it. Don't say because I want.
I'm
I won't get nobody.
I know, and I was like, and that was right around the time that they were swirling his name around, and he said, 100%, this will be solved. And I was like, that's all I need to know. And I had some peace in my heart for about a minute. And then I went back to, they got nothing. But I mean, I was like, I think they got something. I'm like, no, the way he looked at me, I'm telling you. And then, but yeah, you lose. You lose hope.
Well, you never. I don't know if you felt like you lost it. It's just easy to fall into the negativity when, that's
putting your trust into someone else. Yeah. That's true. And I do regret, and I do wish I could see him again and hug him. I haven't been able to see him and hug him and tell him, you know what?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I do remember that.
That helps.
I don't know if you
well,
remember.
When this is all over,
yeah.
When
yeah.
at the end of the trial, hopefully you'll have that moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that kind of stuff happen?
I think so. Yeah.
Is that
definitely? Yeah.
We talked about it. I told him. I said, you guys nail this. Get this done.
Why would she ask? Does that kind of stuff happen? Was she fishing for an answer there?
I don't know. I mean, why does she want to hug him? This case is still out. Like, she's saying that she wants to hug him, but am I the only one that's saying I don't think it's solved 100%? Like, I got so many questions. What could they have possibly told them that she wants to hug them now? I'm confused on that because it's sure don't look like they got anything figured out to me.
No, I don't think they have jack crap figured out right now.
Well, and it's sad, I mean, if you watch the first 48 hours and you watch all that and you see all how things are done and with the CSI, we come to expect that. Okay, that's what we expect to happen, and it's more like we're watching like Super Troopers or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just I come from law enforcement. I respect law enforcement, but nothing about this case has seemed any kind of good.
Dang it! I watched that movie earlier today.
Oh wow! Yeah. Or that other movie, where they got the really short shorts on, Dingleberry, Officer Dingleberry. I feel like there's a lot of Officer Dingleberries running around somewhere.
That Reno 911.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll go and
they did. He said
we'll laugh. We'll laugh about some of the struggles and some of the the conflicts that.
And he goes, he said, I can't wait till I could tell you everything. I can't wait.
Yeah.
He did.
And I grew up in a very competitive, does about this tall, playing sports and everything. I always had a coach who told me, even if you thought you had the greatest game, you could get better. So I take that type of approach to this case. Even if we have the greatest day, we get, but is there more? Is there more? Like seeing the FBI there today is the type of thing that makes me feel like I don't like to see it boarded up, locked up, and not know that. Well, know that I didn't see cameras filming through all the windows. Didn't see all. Now I see those things, and now I can let those things go.
Yeah.
And hopefully they are in there finding more evidence or something.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
She hopes that they're in the house finding more evidence.
They went back. They went back to the house. Was it after this interview?
Yeah, and she was kind of nonchalantly, yeah, I hope they find some more evidence in the house. Did you hear how nonchalant she was about that?
Well, I mean, you got to realize too, they're not being told everything. And
No.
at this point, do we even know what Ellie knows? I mean, they might know a lot, but from what we see, I mean, like again, we watch CSI, they're all booted up, they're all covered up. We didn't see a lot of that. There's just a lot. And
No,
the
we didn't.
bodies, for nobody to ever see the bodies even moved out of the house is just wow to me. Ugh.
Yeah, and the coroner didn't even get a chance to view the bodies until what, almost 5 or 6 o'clock that evening.
Very late, very late. But one of my biggest problems has been, when did the bodies even get moved out? There's leaked footage all over the place of even Linden Lane. You mean to tell me with this high of profile case, because it was a high profile case from the moment it happened,
Yeah.
and nobody's got any kind of pictures or anything of the bodies being moved out? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's not really happening, but I know it really happened.
Yeah, I know.
Like a fake crisis. I guess
Yeah, or
when you think about it, if you think about, let's reflect back on speaking of not a fake crisis, like when children have been killed in schools, we don't see those bodies taken out.
yeah, but it's almost like we've been tricked, but we know this really happened. Like, there's no way they would put us to the extreme that's going on. And I watch
No
these
way.
parents, their hurt is real. It's real.
Oh yeah.
So we
Oh
know
yeah.
it happened, but again, it was mainstream, it was everywhere. I mean, worldwide, immediately. And nobody ever saw the bodies be moved or anything.
No.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just find that really odd.
Yes, and see,
Yeah.
just earlier in the interview, Kristi mentioned how much she wants the trial moved to Boise because that would be closer to where they're at. She said, "I don't." She said, "I don't care where they move it." She goes, "I want it moved to Boise because it would be closer to where we're at." And so she said, "So that way I can be in that courtroom every day." And she said, glaring at Brian.
Hmm.
Well, as a parent, listen, even car wrecks, not even just, murders. As a parent, you want to blame somebody. And so they've given them somebody to blame. Now they want to heal. But also, as the rest of us are out here looking in, we want
Yeah,
them to make sure they get the right people. Okay. And I
yeah.
say people because I tend to think there's a lot more than one. Okay. In my own opinion.
Well, see, like later on in the interview, I just happened to write the bullet point down. Um, uh, Steve, they talked about somebody else being involved, and then Steve G kind of makes the sly comment. There's mistrust between the two of them, whatever that means.
Mistrust. I mean, maybe they feel like they've been given false
No,
information or not enough.
no. He was talking about if there's a second perp out there. Um, because they talked about if somebody else was involved, and Christy was trying to blow it off like no, there was no one else involved. He's just crazy. He's a weirdo. Da 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 da. And then Steve makes the sly comment. Yeah, there's mistrust between the two of them. Like there's a second perp out there that Ellie's not wanting them to know about.
I didn't catch it that way, but maybe I can honestly say maybe I missed it then.
I didn't see it that way, Robert. Is that what we just watched? Do you think?
No, it's a little bit later in the video. That's just one of the
Oh
bullet.
Okay.
well,
Okay.
you
Okay.
can't
That's what I was
ask
like.
us
Wait a
something that we
second.
just didn't watch. I'm sitting there going, I am glued to this, and how did I miss this just
Oh
now?
my
You're
God, that
tricking
would be
me.
amazing.
Don't
I
trick
feel
me.
like you've seen that community. The ideal guy to get on that jury is a farmer who doesn't even have cable TV.
See, I think the ideal guy who can get on that jury is a farmer who doesn't have cable TV.
That's such a big, it's just a truly obtuse thing to say. Like, why wouldn't a farmer have cable? I don't know.
Listen, farmers have a far more better equipment than we have. Are you kidding me? I
Yeah,
mean, look at their
exactly.
tractors and stuff. I mean, don't try to tell me that the farmers don't have social media. Don't tell me that they don't have computers. Like, come on. Why are we throwing farmers like we're not the
Yeah,
hillbillies? Come on now. Like, I
right.
don't understand that remark at all. Like, I know quite a few cowboys that know a heck of a lot more than I do, and I feel like I'm pretty educated. So,
Yeah, the farm systems
Yeah.
here too are like
So to
really
tell him
big,
he's got to watch a 3D
intense.
render, it never made me feel right. A farmer is going to be like, no, I want to see it. I want to touch it. No, you guys can show me all this computer stuff all you want, but it's not real to me. I want to look through that window. I want to hear a dog barking from inside that house. So that's why I was like, I don't know if boarding it up this quick during the middle of the winter is the ideal thing. And I think now with those guys going in there, that's exactly what makes me feel comfortable that when it does go down, then I don't look back and always think about what could have happened. Now it's done. So it's just things like that.
Do you have any questions, Lauren?
I mean, I know that and you can answer this, Brian, but I know we've talked about, like, we still feel like there's so much more that we don't know that's going to come out whenever this trial starts.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of how you guys feel?
Mm-hmm.
And what does, and what is,
It's
what's that like?
Yeah. No, you can just answer it. That's fine. Yeah.
I think it's scary. I'm scared.
You don't want to hear something that.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you can't. I mean, and like I said, my mind will go. Give me a little, and unfortunately, my mind will go there, and I'm scared what I will hear. I think it's going to be terrifying. I think it's going to be absolutely terrifying. And is it mentally good? Obviously it's not mentally good for me at all. Or healthy? No. And I've thought about, like, maybe I shouldn't go and be there. I mean, there are days that I won't be.
Yeah.
Photos, I'm out. But I feel I have to be there for Kaylee. I feel like I have to. Like, she'd be like, Mom, get up and get your butt in court now. Like, like she went through that.
At least we can be there to make sure that it.
But I think hearing the details, if they come out, or I mean, the prosecution's got to paint a picture. Even the picture that they paint, I mean, it's probably going to be fairly accurate, I would think, for the most part.
We could talk to Thompson, the prosecution, and say, hey, all you have to do is look at us and we can leave.
There's just no way that a ton of stuff is going to come out. I think a ton.
There's just no way. I think that there's a ton of stuff that's going to come out. A ton. What's that? What's that
That's not
remark
good.
about? Huh?
But there's not enough evidence right now for us to say that this is 100% right. I hope a ton comes out.
Yeah. I just kind of caught that. No way is a ton of evidence going to come out. No way. What's on your mind, Rock?
I just think that I think they messed up a lot of things, in my opinion. like not a lot of things were tainted in my mind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so the evidence that's going to come out is going to have to be eyewitnesses. And do I believe there's some eyewitnesses? I do. Like, I know it wasn't a quiet night. Like, I don't believe anything that they've said. And so I think there could be a lot more to come out.
Well, just like what Enan Harsh said in his interview, that people around there leave their windows and doors unlocked, and he went to bed at 2:30, between 2:30 and 4, but he really doesn't pay attention to the time. So he really didn't know what time he went to bed, but yet he contradicted himself by saying, "Yeah, I went to bed between 2:30 and 4." But I really don't pay attention to the time, though.
Well,
And I
some
could
He's
on
another
his
he's another I was gonna say he's another oxymoron I want to get into eventually.
well, kind of think that there's a thing I can kind of relate to that because I get off work. Sometimes I don't get home till like 3, 4 in the morning. And so sometimes I'm not a gamer, but I've know plenty of people who game, and I've seen people I used to have roommates that I would leave for work, and I would get home, 9 hours later, 10 hours later, and they would still be on their computer. So I
oh,
think sometimes that is just such a time suck that people just don't even realize what time it is.
I do that with TikTok. I'll get on there to look at something, and then next thing I've been on there 2 hours.
Right?
I mean, it's real easy to start getting focused on something, and I'm laughing. Everybody needs laughter. Or you go on Facebook and you're looking at your friends or your family, and I mean, it's really easy to get into that, and time flies. Like I have insomnia, so my sleep schedule is just all over the place, and sometimes I might not even realize it's 4 o'clock. I might think it's like 2. It don't. I mean,
Yeah,
time. Sometimes time goes fast. Sometimes time stands still. It's just. I don't judge him by
yeah.
that.
Everyone's different. Yeah, a lot of people judge time differently than the person next to them. Yeah, so I mean, I tend to agree with you on that, Rock and Sophie.
And
And
sometimes I
I
just lay in bed and think about that.
Yeah, they're going to
Honestly, just think,
retrace
oh,
his steps. People are going to be shocked about how sophisticated this investigation was. I think the caste system, what I've seen of that, is going to blow people away. The tilting of the phone, all that stuff now can be
yeah.
used to give a picture that people don't.
Wait a minute. How did he see the cast? How did he see the caste system?
They probably showed him.
weird.
Listen, everybody has a friend of a friend. There's a lot that can be seen.
It's true.
I mean, come on now. I mean, I like into life too, but her best friend's husband is FBI. People talk, things get out. That's why there's a gag order, and I'm really surprised some of the things that has got out the way that it's got out.
Now, do you believe that the gag order was brought out specifically to keep the Gonzalez's from speaking? Because if you
No,
remember
I,
before,
I, I think it. I think the gag order got out just to stop. They knew that this was going to be a crazy case, and they didn't want anybody being able to talk about it. It gives Ellie and, well, let's say defense and prosecution a reason not to have to talk about it when there's a gag order. When there's not a gag order, most of the time you see them talking to the media because they feel that
yeah.
pressure. They've got my opinion though, you're asking me. They've got the gag order that helps the prosecution and it helps the defense not to have to answer questions. They can just say there's a gag order, and the officers, because these officers are still working. Okay, some of them, many of them's left by now. So hey, looks like another one's leaving. So
Yeah, but the gag order was also specifically encompassed around the victims' families as well,
um,
i.e., Shannon Gray.
I don't think so because I thought that the judge said that the families aren't gagged. I thought somebody correct me in the chat. Like I'm under this as the feeling that the families are not gagged. I thought Judge said the gag don't affect the families. Like it's not on them, but it's in their best interest not to let out what they know.
I know,
Agreed.
I know he
Am I
gagged.
wrong?
I know he gagged Shannon Gray.
Well, he's an attorney, but I don't think the families are gagged.
What
They
about
haven't
the
been over
400
that.
eyewitnesses or the 400 witnesses that they need to interview?
Yeah, they aren't gagged. You're right. Yeah, I remember Judge saying to Shannon Gray, "Well, the families aren't gagged."
They aren't. They aren't gagged. You're right, Rock Chalk.
Yeah, yeah. I really
The
and
families aren't gagged, but the name Shannon Gray is.
well, he's an attorney, so that's where it goes to the attorneys and stuff. And he's only gagged on certain things that he can say because he's digging. He's trying to get information, and
Yeah.
they don't want some of the stuff that they to get out to the public. So if he gets hold, maybe of a court document, because he's an attorney, they don't want that released to the media. So I would assume that's why he's gagged, or he comes across something they don't want him releasing it even to the families. That's what I get from it, but I could be way off. Like that's just my opinion.
Jenny Hendrix's question is, what is scaring them into silence?
Wouldn't we all want to know that? Like I would like to know too, Jenny. Why isn't these kids talking? Why weren't they
Right.
partying the next weekend? I mean, 4 people just got unalived. They had many friends, and it just baffles me that they're still partying like nobody's business, like nothing ever happened. And
Uh,
Right.
that saddens me a lot.
non
Also,
Noni
the
Mc
court. Also, the court. Whenever
yeah,
they have court,
Noni McPoppins says yeah, Noni McPoppins said, I've wondered if the defense leaked Linda Lane footage because they need help, and who better than thousands of web sleuths to help without being paid and without knowing who they're helping.
it's not even about being paid. Noni, I think you're right, but it's about. Listen, we are some good sleuthers out here. Okay,
Yeah,
we are, and everybody knows this. Just like the creators, everyone's different. They hit this at a different angle, But a lot of us in the chats, we know each other. We all see what we see, but we might sit here and watch this all together and still think something else about what we see in this, even this clip here that we're watching.
yeah,
So I think it's great. I think it's great that
yeah,
we got all the sleuthers out there. It's the
yeah.
miscommunication.
Just Amber says, at Jenny, I think President Green has a lot to do with it.
Well, I mean, he wrote a book. I'm still waiting on that book because I want to read it. There's just a lot going on here. But what you was asking is that the
Yeah,
families was gagged, or you thought they were gagged. The gag order was for the families. I'm
yeah,
going to say no, that they're not even gagged. But they're smart not to tell what they know. Not only that, if they let anything loose, they're never going to be told anything else until trial. So I,
Right.
I do I do believe, in
yeah.
my opinion, that they are being told a little bit just to keep them from, you know, flat out coming out here and bashing the LE again. But they're not being told enough that's going to hurt the case. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got
Casey,
to be something that they've got given that they've told them that doesn't have them screaming from the rooftops of there could be
Exactly.
somebody else out
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
Exactly.
Casey has a very good question. She says, so if they have so much evidence, then why do they care? Are you talking about the families, Casey?
Well, she's talking about the gag order, and why would they
Realize.
care? Why would they care
Yeah,
what gets out there? Because they supposedly have all this evidence. Listen, it's supposed to be you're innocent until proven guilty, but it seems like
Right.
you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. Like something's backwards here.
yeah,
Yeah, because from the surface, it really like from the surface, you're when you're talking about like infinitesimal tiny piece of DNA as your like evidence. There's got to be there's got to be more.
Yeah,
That's not a thing.
and not only that, Robert. I look at it from both sides. Okay,
yeah.
I feel so badly for these parents that's lost their children. But also, I feel badly for BK's parents too, because
Oh yeah,
I mean, what if this was my son and he was the mailman and he left some DNA there? I mean,
Right.
seriously, like this could be anyone out there. Wouldn't you want to be 100% sure you got the right people, not just person, everybody involved. Is there really any justice if you don't get everybody involved that was involved in this?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rock.
I mean, sometimes I outspeak. I'm sorry. Sometimes it just comes out. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel
Oh,
about
it's
it.
okay.
So,
It's okay.
so I feel sorry for both of them because that could be my son sitting there,
Right.
Yeah.
and he could have just been the mailman that delivered mail. Like, I just,
Yeah.
I see both sides. Like, I'm not a BK lover. I don't want anybody to say that. Listen, I want justice, but I want justice for these 4 victims and who did it, all the way down to if something was planted. Anybody involved in any of this and the aftermath of it too, they all need charged. My opinion.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, do you think that Dylan and or Bethany will show up and testify in the trial, because from what I've heard, Bethany is fighting a subpoena to come back to Idaho because she does not want to come back. She does. She's made a statement through her attorney. She wants nothing to do with the trial. She wants nothing to do with Brian, and she wants nothing to do with the prosecution. Well,
That's too
if
bad.
if that is true, will that hurt the case in the end or in the long run, Rock?
Well, if they think that they can just do a deposition and that's good enough for this trial, I'm going to say wrong. Because as a jury, you're not going to want to watch the prosecution read a deposition. You're going to
Uh-uh.
want them on the stand saying what they saw. Like, I personally, I don't know how they're going to get out of not testifying.
At all. That doesn't.
Whatever happened to, being able to face your accusers? Now, if she said that he had bushy eyebrows and all this, basically, she's an accuser too. So, whatever happened to the justice system of you being able to face your accusers? I'm not saying that the girls. I'm not trying to blame this on the 2 living victims or survivors. Okay, I'm just saying I don't know how they can get away with not having them there. A deposition is not going to be the same. And if I was on the jury, I'd be like, nope, this is a no go for me. They got to be here. I want to see their actions. I want to see what they do. I also want to be able to see Ann Taylor ask some questions finally. Okay.
Right. I
Yeah, I
wonder
know.
because they're so young, like they're the trauma they must be experiencing from this. Let's say all that happened was like she was Kaylee, sorry, Bethany was gone, and then she showed up back at the house at 1 in the afternoon or whatever, and just went into her room downstairs and whatever, and then was like, "Man, I need some water or something," and
Well,
went upstairs, and then I mean, all the trauma they've got. If they're not, I mean, they've got to be in intense therapy, right? I just wonder about if she doesn't want to come back to Idaho, could she do like a live, like be on
Yeah.
Zoom, whatever, in court?
back with COVID, they started that crap. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important. I think it's important for the jury to actually have them there and see
Yeah.
their actions. Listen, you've got people that they specialize in body movements, the way you hold
Right.
your mouth, the way your tongue moves. They can tell if you're lying or telling the truth. You're reading a deposition off a piece of paper. It does
Uh-uh.
not tell you that. So
Uh-uh.
I'm strong on the fact that not only that, I'm not so sure that that's Dylan's statement because I have kids her age and they don't use clad in black. I don't even believe they would
Yeah.
even say bushy eyebrows. Like, I don't even believe that's her statement. I'm ready to see, like, the first 48, where they do the interviews. It's all interviewed and you get to see all that stuff during trial. I'm ready to
Mm-hmm.
see all that because I don't believe that's her statement, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's on paper and that's what they say it is. I got to hear it and see it.
Yeah. I'm not
I'm,
20. I don't know. I don't know anybody my age who would use the word clad. I might personally use the word clad, but I'm wordier than most.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know many that would use the word clad. That's honest
Yeah.
to God's truth.
Yeah, I can't think of a time when I would think of it. If I saw somebody dressed in black, I'd be like, they were wearing black. I can't imagine using the
Yeah.
word bad. I can't even imagine a cop in his like early, late 30s or 30s to 40s, whatever year old, however those cops are, using the word clad.
Yeah, it's so strange, but Am I the only one from this case that, like, I take my granddaughter to the fair and, we're riding rides and I see a bushy eyebrows. Like, I gotta go over to that person and check out their bushy eyebrows. Like, you see somebody in all black, I'm
Oh
checking
yeah.
them out now. Like,
This
this
isn't.
case has affected me in ways that I would have never thought a case would affect me.
See,
Hey Rock,
it's like
check back.
causing
Check
you trauma. Also.
Rock. Check back chat.
Okay, gotcha. Anyway, I don't know. I got to see that was their statements. And to me, it seems like maybe Bethany and Dylan's statements didn't match either. So they made the best of it, which whatever would sound the best for them to put out there and put in their PCA.
Did
Because it makes no sense to me.
did Bethany even speak in the PCA? Because the one I read, it was nothing but Dylan.
Oh, you can best believe that she was questioned and they've got the interview somewhere. But she might not have said what they wanted her to say, is what I'm thinking. And so they just went with what sounds good, what's going to be the best. At that point in time, does anybody here think that they probably thought, okay, we're a small town, nobody's even going to pay attention to this. We're just going to, I mean, they are the biggest of no reports taken, you know? They never want to write a damn report. So what makes
Yeah.
you think that they knew that this was going to blow up and be taken by a storm from everybody across the world like it is?
Globally.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. And I'm glad it did. Like, I
Yeah.
hate it that we're all having to deal with it. I mean, many people have nightmares at night. I get it. But this is the strangest case. Like, it will go down in history for sure.
Thank you, Sweet Surrender. This is what Sweet Surrender said. I am in my 20s and I don't say clad in black.
See, yeah.
And for the people that listen, Brian looks normal to me. He don't look like he's got bushy eyebrows. Them death eyes that you say he's got, they look normal to me. As a matter of fact, he's facing the death penalty. He's facing the firing squad, and I still don't see even the fear in him. Like, where does people get all that? Because listen, I try to find it in him, and I don't see it. If he walked across the street with me and I passed him, I wouldn't look at him twice. He looks normal to me. Am I the only
Hey,
one that thinks he looks normal?
It looks normal to me too. And like the thing, that's another thing. Younger person who's in the chat, like I'm pretty sure that when I was in my 20s and my teens, it was like tweeze all your eyebrows off, and then so now it's everybody has bushy eyebrows. In my opinion, I don't think I
I
would even
know.
notice. All
No, it's
people that are
crazy.
between like 35 and 15 or 12 or whatever, they've all got bushy eyebrows.
It's crazy.
I
And my
need to
granddaughter's
address
like, no,
something
I
in
want
the
to ride this one. And I'm like, no, we're riding this one.
I need to address something in the chat right now. Essex Outlaw, we're happy that you're here. We don't mind you being here as long as you chat respectfully, but do not come into this channel and try to debunk our work. If you don't want to be here, then get out of this channel.
We got good mods, Robert. We got good mods.
I just had to say my piece. I did say he could stay as long as he chatted appropriately, but the stuff he's coming in to chat with, he's trying to debunk everything we're doing here right now.
Well, what facts is he bringing? Like, I don't understand. What facts do you actually have? Like, what facts does he have?
What
Let's just
facts
go
do
on.
they have? Who has facts?
Pay them no mind. You got some really
It's
good
all
mods, and
it's all on body cam, so everyone will see the truth. Accusing innocent people, they were interviewed numerous times. Plus, FBI called in straight away.
what is facts? Like, how do you know what facts or anything? I mean,
And he
the
goes,
body cam. Are you talking the body
it's
cam that they
facts.
zip up and cover half of it? Like, do you really believe the PCA? Are you one of them people that think that People don't lie.
It's
I
he
don't
says it's in
understand.
the PCA.
Well, he can say anything he wants. Like, I don't think any of us know what's truth right now.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So, I mean, if you don't like it, go watch somebody's channel that's all they're focused on. We're looking at the big picture here. We're trying to
Yeah.
find out what's on body cam. Like, what do you understand? What are you saying? What's on body cam? And the FBI ain't lying. Like, I'm not gonna pay you no more mind. Let's go.
Hey, Rockchalk, would you mind stepping down and zapping him?
Already done.
So I think there's some brilliant people working on this case, and they're going to lay out a full picture of things that lay out to a point where you're going to walk through this and you're going to relive it, and that will. I think it'll be pretty clear by the end of the case. The verdict.
I think the details are going to be what led up to it, or when he got eyes on him, or one of them, both of them, someone, how he picked that. I mean, I think it's just going to be very haunting, very just a nightmare.
Yeah,
just an average
the
person's
motive, I think, because we don't really have that
Yeah.
yet, so that will all be.
And I think his motive, which is weird, I think his motive was he wanted to do it.
He wanted
to murder.
Yeah. Well, he did want
I
to
know
be.
that's like, but why did he want to murder? Well, he wanted murder because he wanted to see what it felt like because he's a weirdo. I don't know.
Well, he wanted to be a police officer, and he probably.
Wait a minute. Can you
Well, I
back
don't think
that?
most
Did he
police
say
officers
he
would
wanted
wanna
her?
murder people.
No, but he
And
wanted.
especially that.
You caught that too?
Back to Kristi just a little bit. I could have swore she said wanted her, then wanted to murder. I want to make sure that we heard that correctly.
What
I'm
I've
sorry.
seen of
Sorry,
that
chat.
is going to blow people away. The tilting of the phone, all that stuff now can be used to give a picture that people don't realize. So I think there's some brilliant people working on this case, and they're going to lay out a full picture of things that lay out to a point where you're going to walk through this and you're going to relive it, and that will. I think it'll be pretty clear by the end of the case. The verdict.
I think the details are going to be what led up to it, or when he got eyes on him, or one of them, both of them, someone, how he picked that. I mean, I think it's just going to be very haunting, very just a nightmare.
Yeah,
just an average
the
person's.
motive, I think, because we don't really have that yet,
Yeah.
so that will all be.
And I think his motive, which is weird, I think his motive was he wanted to do it. He
wanted
wanted to murder.
Yeah. Well, he did want
I
to
know
be.
that's like, but why did he want to murder? Well, he wanted murder because he wanted to.
He
see what it
wanted
felt
her.
like, 'cause
She
he's
just
a
said
weird-
he wanted her.
Yeah, I heard that too.
That's the first time I've caught that. He wanted
That-
her.
I thought he said he wanted to, because the next thing he says is he wanted to be a cop or something.
I'm talking about Kristi.
Oh,
He said he
sorry.
wanted her.
Oh,
She said
yeah.
he wanted her. I've never caught that before.
Yeah, she did. He did say that.
It wasn't Steve. It was Kristi. She said he wanted her. That's twice now I've heard it. One
Go
more
back.
time. Let's go back
You
one more time.
never know what we're going to hear this time.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No?
I heard the wanted to hurt her,
So I
and then she
think-
said wanted her.
And I think there's some brilliant people working on this case, and they're going to lay out a full picture of things that lay out to a point where you're going to walk through this and you're going to relive it, and that will. I think it'll be pretty clear by the end of the case. The verdict.
I think the details are going to be what led up to it, or when he got eyes on him, or one of them, both of them, someone, how he picked that. I mean, I think it's just going to be very haunting, very just a nightmare.
Yeah,
just an
Yeah,
average
the
person's.
motive, I think, because we don't really have that
Yeah.
yet, so that will all be.
And I think his motive, which is weird, I think his motive was he wanted to do it. He
wanted
wanted
to-
to murder.
Yeah. Well, he did want to be.
He said he did say he wanted her.
It's
No,
right after he was-
I heard murder. I heard he
Yeah.
wanted murder.
He said that, but it's Kristi that says wanted her.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I just heard her say murder also.
It's right after this.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's not. Sorry.
Yeah, he stopped it too quick. That's
Yep.
all right.
Like, but why did he want to murder? Well, he wanted her because he
He
wanted
wanted
He wanted
her.
her.
Yep,
He
I
She
heard
wanted
it.
said it.
her.
He wanted her.
I heard it. I heard it. Yeah.
I had never caught that before. Interesting. And he watched two of them. Like, are we sure that? I mean, how do we know that Ethan wasn't the target? Like, there is a guy that got unalive too. This is
It.
so weird.
I feel like this when she's speaking, everything she just explained, like this is going to be a nightmare. All those things, like the way she was saying it, I would imagine this family, this woman, this whole situation. This woman's probably making up a million scenarios of what happened in her head. You know, like the worst possible things that could have happened to her poor child.
I'm sure, and that's probably another reason why the other parents don't go in the media. But you hear what you
Yeah.
hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she said that. I heard it too. Yes.
Yeah. Happy Faces said, I hear new things each time I watch the interviews.
Me too. That's why I've been so. I was like, Robert, I'd be glad to go back and let's just go over all the interviews from the parents because they tell a lot. Like, I believe Steve tells a lot. He gives us hints. Like, he tells a lot in my eyes.
Oh,
You mean,
he's so animated.
you mean like that? The hint that he said there's another level of data being collected to open up new
Exactly.
Yeah, that's going to
investigators.
be another live. But yeah, that'll be another live, and we should cover that one too.
For sure.
I like going over
to
these.
see what it felt like because he's a weirdo. I don't know. Just
Well, you wanted to be a police officer, and you probably
I don't think most police officers want to murder people.
no, but he
and
wanted
especially that way.
it was
I mean,
part of
goodness.
his fantasy was to be
Yeah.
in that situation of control. So,
But yeah, I mean, some of the details I look forward to because it would be nice to put it to rest. But I don't know if I would put it to rest. That your brain ponders it. How did they cross paths? How? I want answers. I want to know. You know, why can't you just tell us that? I mean, I get it, but I mean, it's just a simple question, you know, and
just how he was able to do that so quickly in the
yeah,
house.
yeah,
You know, it's so brutal.
yeah. I mean, what, 15 minutes? 404 to 417 or something? And people say, "Oh, it's not possible. It's not possible." Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
He was on a mission.
I think they'll
He
redo
was
those
on a
steps.
mission. He went boom, 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 straight
Yeah,
upstairs.
and adrenaline, and you know,
And it's both victims are right next to
I
each
mean,
other.
sit for 14 minutes. Just sit. Put your clock on. Me and Olivia have done it before. And we're like, just sit in time. We're just going to sit here. And I mean, you know, we're like, how long has it been?
They're going to sit where?
I think she thinks that we think that this murder took place in 11 minutes, right? So like I think she's saying what time frame she thinks it is when this interview is happening. And
Well, and
she's,
he says, quick. Like, listen, I'd like to see you get a Navy SEAL in there and do
yeah,
all two levels of people in whatever they were doing in that quick a time. Because I don't believe anybody was sleeping even. It wasn't a quiet night.
but I think you could get a professional murder person in there to do that fast. But I don't think any of the possible people that are there that are or could be accused or are accused could possibly have done it that quickly.
I mean, he's got super duper ninja skills, but he comes
Yeah,
into court confident. He has no handcuffs. He has no shackles. Supposedly, he's got some electric belt on him. But I mean, he's a ninja dude if he killed all them people that quick.
right.
Yeah.
And he's laughing with the guards when he comes out. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, guys.
No shackles, no handcuffs. He's always smiling when he comes out to jail. Comes into the courtroom. He's always joking around with the guards.
He's very confident in what he's doing. And he wanted to be a police officer. He wanted to be above a police officer. Like,
Yeah.
he's got criminology major. He's getting a PhD. That's way above your local cop walking the street. Come on now.
Yeah. See,
Wanted to be?
I heard her. Either was report or rumor that he was wanting to help the local PD there in Pullman to help them develop their cloud-based forensics and
Yeah, because
and
that's
how
what
to
he
do it
wants
more
to do.
efficiently.
But that's what his degree's in. Like, I mean, come on,
Yeah,
be for real. Why wouldn't he want to get a job doing that? I mean, he's obviously going to school. Why wouldn't he want to get a part-time job or a full-time job? I don't know what his school hours are to do that. I mean, usually people that get into that, now I'm not going to say there hasn't been cops in the world that hasn't murdered people, because there is.
Right.
But he's young. Why would you go to all them years of school to, I mean, to, to go in the profession he's going into? Why wouldn't he want to help the local PD while he was going to school? I would
yeah,
want to.
Yeah.
On the job training, kind of like, while he's
yeah,
going to school. Like, I don't see anything strange about that.
When I was in criminal
no,
justice classes in college, a lot of the other students were wanting to just go into policing.
yes, but I'd still like to know where her and freaking Olivia set. Would you put that timer on? Did they set in their house, or where did they set at? Did they set out? Did they set out in front of uh the house? Yeah, because this interview was taking place about a month before the house was torn down.
You
So
know,
did
it's
her?
easy. It's easy to say after the fact. We don't know what all went on in that house. I mean, it takes that person had to go in the house or persons. Okay, you never know what somebody's gonna do if they were standing up, what they were doing. Like, how can you try to redo it when you don't even know if they were asleep, if they were up getting a DoorDash, if they were calling an ex-boyfriend? Like, we don't
Right.
know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you're sitting there and just doing 14 minutes and doing nothing, that's going to seem like a long time. I mean, to do what he did, you're going to get exhausted. And is that knife really going to last through all four people? Um, did
yeah,
it transfer? Like, you know, who was the first one? Because they would have that. Because if you stab one and then you go to the next, all that DNA is going to get transferred in the wounds to the next one. We
Right.
still don't
yeah,
know what happened. That's what the trial's for.
yeah. And Jeff H. He had a very good statement right here. He says Koberger wrote in an essay he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations.
Okay,
And
so
that's a
what's
very good
wrong with
statement.
that? But
Yeah, that's a very good
why wouldn't
statement.
he do that? Why wouldn't he do that? We have ride-alongs here. Okay, we have ride-alongs. You think that the criminology students don't ride along with the local PD? Like, that's not uncommon. Listen,
At all.
there's usually two types of Ellie. Okay, you got the ones that just want the power. Okay, then you got the ones
Yeah,
that really just love that job, like my kids' dad. 33 years as a U.S. Marshal, loved his job. Really didn't even want to retire. Okay, you got people that it's in their blood, and maybe it was just in his blood, and he wanted to actually help, and he wanted to do something while he's there. He obviously had no family there. Why wouldn't he try to do something that's in his realm, criminology? I don't find
Right.
that strange.
yeah. Listen, she has a very good statement here. DM can identify bushy eyebrows, but not a K bar that is dripping.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
Where did he put the gun?
and then not only that,
I
cleaned
think.
up that one shoe print. Listen, if it's
Right.
as bloody as Mabbott said, okay, there should be blood all over the hallways, the walls, everywhere. Not one latent shoe print.
By Dylan's door.
Exactly. What was it? A peg leg? Like, seriously, come on. What's
Right.
going on there?
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. Yeah. As soon as they said, oh, they found one latent shoe print and it was barely visible, so they had to use uh, the stuff to bring out blood and then the amino black just to see the footprint. You don't know how long that footprint's been there if it was barely visible. It could have been there for 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, how do they justify it that it's specifically the unalive or whatever if it's not if it's not visible? Could it not have been one of the other like thousands of people that have been to that house?
Well,
Yeah,
it would also explain. I'm sorry, but it would also explain an 8-hour time frame of
Right?
waiting, because the house seemed to be pretty clean from what we hear. One shoe print with all that goriness going on, and you got one shoe print. I don't know
Right.
about all that.
yeah, because I mean, am I wrong? Didn't they have a party there the night before? Because wasn't that a party house? So they could have had a party there like the night before the murders, like say Friday night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
could
want
have
to. That the statement Kelly made, Rock. The statement was made that the red stuff was isolated in the 2 rooms. Said respectfully, yeah, I understand that, but you're going to get that red on you. If you got
mm-hmm.
it on one shoe, how do you not get it on the other shoe?
Yeah,
I mean, are you doing the splits and you got one leg way out the door while you're doing it? Like, I'm just trying to understand. I mean, that's why we're discussing it, right? And I love
yeah,
Kelly. Like, that wasn't a rude remark to Kelly. I love her to death. Like, that's why we're discussing this, right? I mean, can you see his
yeah,
leg outside the door while he's using the knife? Like, I don't understand that. It would be on both shoes.
I could see him having those little booty things that you have to put over your shoes. But like, where'd they go?
Exactly. And how come she didn't see them?
Right.
I mean, look,
yeah.
I get what Jeff's saying too. Like, I get it. You know, hitting up against his right leg, but she opened the door 3 times, right?
Yes,
Mm,
and I believe one of the times that she opened the door, she hollered out, "Shut your fucking mouths! I'm trying to sleep."
Or something to the effect of "Shut up, I'm trying to sleep." Yeah, whatever she said.
Yeah,
We only know what the PCA says, And I'm just saying, I thought, how do you get out of them rooms without carrying? I mean,
transfer
the
blood.
blood on you. Yeah,
yeah,
that had
nothing.
to be a bloody mess. Wait till
It
we see
would.
the pictures.
Oh God.
Yeah. Kelly says I have my doubts about the one footprint. So do I.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds that's so weird. What like part of the house thing. They clearly, if there's whatever this footprint is, they had to cut that out of the floor, right? Like that's part of evidence. They probably cut that whole piece of flooring out. But
Well,
like,
No,
what they
I
do
think they
is they
used
put laminate
trans.
paper over it and
well,
can
Yeah.
get a copy of it.
yeah, no,
I
yeah,
don't.
I know during that process. But I mean, do you think when we saw that one video, they had like chunks of the wall cut out,
You know why I think that is? I think
Huh.
it's blood splatter.
right? So you think they wouldn't have kept this like latent shoe print at all? They wouldn't have kept that piece of carpet. But do you know what I mean? Like, did
They
they
might
clearly
have
they had
when
to
they
have
went
tested
back
it for
when they
DNA?
knew, yeah, when they knew that there was going to be force with taking the house down. They decided that they needed to go get some of that stuff. But listen to this. So they brought the cleaning crew in. If you guys remember, and
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Ann Taylor, she stopped that. She got an injunction to stop that. They had the tarps up. Everything was going in to clean that house. What if they had cleaned that house? Okay, the ISP, which who I think the Cowboys were, was ISP. My own opinion. They wouldn't have been able to go back in.
Yeah.
FBI wouldn't have been able to go back in because they went back in and took out the wall. We really don't know what all they took out. We do know there was a chunk of the wall.
Yeah.
They could have took the carpet, but I'm just saying if they'd have brought in the cleaning crew like it was set up, I remember seeing the tarps and everything. They were
Uh huh.
fixing to go in there, and thank goodness Ann was on it and got that stopped.
Yeah, that was
Why
way
was
too
they
soon.
so quick? This is what I want to know. Why is prosecution so quick to wanted to clean that house? So quick to get the house down? Like, I just don't understand any of that.
Yeah, and especially the former owner of the house, Dan Estee, who gifted it to the university, or should say the Board of Regents, and the Board of Regents reached out to the defense and the prosecution, and that's why Ann Taylor did that one injunction. But according to Bill Thompson, I don't want to take a jury in there because the feeling in the house the feeling in the house has changed as well as the sense of the house has changed. What is that? What does that freaking mean? The feeling in the house has changed.
Well, what he's saying is, they've taken the furniture out. They did a lot of things. See, I personally think they should have just left everything the way it was. You know, they should have just left it, but they didn't. Okay, that's unfortunate, but they didn't. But again, if you go look at the videos of the house, there's a step there, and it's not your normal step. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because at my godmother's house, she had her bottom step that was a little off. Steps are a certain. I'm not a carpenter, so but there's supposed to be a certain amount. And I went
Right.
down 5 steps, and I don't know how many times on that last step I rolled my ankle a lot and fell because that step was just a half an inch off. And finally, she got it fixed. Don't you think that even that
Oh,
little step that went in the living room, we see it, okay? You see it in the videos. Don't you think that the jury would want to go in and see what it took to get up them steps? Like physically see it to get up the steps. I'm not one that can do it visually. I'm one that I got to go do it physically. Am I making sense there?
Yeah, you
absolutely.
I think the whole taking down the house just, I wasn't for it.
well see like Steve G said in the interview that the farmer is going to want to look in the windows, is going to want to go to the physical house,
I
going to want to
agree,
be able, going
but
to want
not
to be
the
able to
farmer. I believe
hear
the
the
jurors. I don't think everybody in Idaho's a farmer, okay? And the jury
I've
pool
never
is going to be the
farmed.
jury pool. I don't know why we're
yeah,
focusing on the farmer because he said it. He's nervous and he's just trying to get things out there. But the jury
yeah.
pool's got to be
Well,
a lot of people.
yeah. Well, like you said, the jury or the juror is going to want to be able to go to the house to hear the echo of a dog bark, or to feel the draft, or hear the floor creak, and be able to look in the windows and stuff. And with with the house gone, they're not going to want to do everything through a 3D rendering with Oculus glasses. It's
Not
not
only
going to be the
that,
same.
not only that. I mean, I'm getting older in my age, but you know, as a juror, if I'm summoned, which I'll never be summoned because I can't do that, and it's because of my old job. But I probably would be one of the fairest jurors there is because I look everywhere. I look at both sides. But anyway, I would
Yeah,
want to walk up them steps. I might even want to run up them steps to see how much it
yeah,
takes me to get from each floor. You can't do that with a model. You just
no,
can't. I would be your juror that says, "Step back, everybody, because I got to check this out. I'm going to go from floor to floor and see how fast I go." Like I would want to see it, feel it, do it physically.
I'd
yeah,
like to see somebody like reenact how quickly that could happen. And to be honest, like and really, if you think about, let's say it is just one person in there. If there's no marks coming out of the bedroom upstairs or coming down those stairs and there's no blood or whatever, I have just the hardest time believing that's even possible. And I like to see how the prosecution is going to justify, like, whatever. Oh, he took a shower there, or he changed all of his clothes upstairs and he came downstairs and found two more roommates and was like, crap,
Hmm.
and put on a
Well,
whole nother outfit or changed again.
this is the other thing. Okay, so we're going to be focused on this touch DNA on this sheet, right? But everybody's forgetting the night before there was
yeah,
150 people there. There's got to be so much. Do you know how much skin cells you drop just all day long? A lot.
Yeah,
Do you know how
yeah,
many hairs I lose just sitting here that
yeah,
fall out? I go to rub my face because
totally.
I got a hair in my eye.
Right,
Your body's constantly losing that.
right,
150 or so people. Oh, let me just narrow it to 20. You could have 20 people there the night before. Look at all that DNA, and we don't know
right.
anything
yeah,
about that. Where did it get cleaned up from? We saw the kitchen. We saw the cups like they had beer pong. The red
yeah.
solo cups.
Yeah,
Who's discussing that? Like, there's got to be more DNA. Where is it?
yeah. 3 people. They have 3 people.
But I mean,
Yeah,
even if
and they
there's,
won't.
we're told
And
150 people at a party, but even if there was 20, just think of all the DNA. When you
Yeah.
walk through the house, your hair falling out. I mean, you lose skin cells. Like that's DNA.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
makes no
and
sense.
and then they got those there's three unknown male DNAs that they haven't tested yet. Oh, we got our guy, so we don't really need to test them. It's the way Thompson's coming off.
I think they probably tested them three, and they're not just
Hmm.
telling us. But I think a lot of this is to persuade us another way. Like I said, I'd like to see the creators really cover how many people was there on that Friday night. How much DNA do you actually
Yeah,
think was in that house? Nobody cleaned that house. We saw the solo cups. We saw
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
food. We
Yeah. The
saw the
kitchen was
trash can, for
dirty.
Lord's sake. The pizza
Yeah.
boxes. That would be evidence to me. Like we
Uh-huh.
yeah,
picked
oh
up the
yeah.
lids and ate out of the pizza. We were told that Xana and Ethan had pizza, but what if they had a couple friends over that had pizza too? The pizza boxes stayed. Nobody took that into evidence.
Oh
But
yeah.
you could still see it in the trash can.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, we order pizza and my kids come over, and they're lifting the lid, getting a piece of pizza. How do we know it was just Xana and Ethan there? Like
Right.
that would have had
Totally.
DNA on it too. They didn't
Totally.
collect it.
Totally.
Yeah, I see
I'm
where you're
probably
coming
irritating
from.
people, but I'm not trying to irritate people. I'm just trying to be your normal person asking these questions.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
just
let's.
like Leon 1010 said, must have tested them if they know they were male.
True.
How
Very
would they
good
know if?
possibility.
Actually, how do you know if they tested them if they're male or not? I mean, do we have any pictures of everybody that was there the night before at the big old party? Like,
Right.
I don't understand. I don't feel like this has been done right. Like, there's got to
Oh
be
no,
a
I
shit
agree
ton of
with you, Rock.
DNA. I mean, we
I
have
think.
we have a lot
I
of
think.
kids in and out of our house, because we have kids. I wouldn't even want to begin to think how much DNA is in this house.
Oh my God. Yeah. No. When I was in college, we didn't. I had. I don't. I don't. I never locked the sliding glass door. I lived maybe a block and a half from campus. So half the people I knew would stop by even if I wasn't home, and
Right.
there was tons of people.
Or they're just passing through and they thought, okay, so whoever said it was a quiet night, I'm sorry, you're wrong. We obviously see that it was not a quiet night. We don't
No.
know who was in and out of the house, even eating a piece of pizza as they were walking over to the frat or walking down the street or whatever. That
And
was a
if the
party house. People were there a lot. People were there without the actual residents being there.
right, and if they're partying at Sigma Chi and Sigma Chi is like visible from the front door, who's to say people aren't like, let's go, oh, I gotta go get a beer at the house, or oh, let me this thing, come over to my house with me, random other person
Yeah.
here, you know what I mean? Who's
Who's
to
to
say
say they
like
didn't Snapchat their pizza and say, we're having pizza? And next thing you know, you got five guys at the door. I want a piece of pizza.
right?
I mean, I'm being serious. Why was
Yep.
that not taken into evidence?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and why didn't they go through freaking Kaylee's trash either?
Yeah. Well, I think we ought to go ahead and finish some of this because I could go on, and people are probably ready for me to be quiet. So,
Yeah, let's finish it and have it.
and I will rewatch.
Okay.
It's really hard when you're on the panel to see all the comments. So if I miss some, I definitely will rewatch this and respond to you because it's a lot when you're trying to talk and have your mindset and get every comment that's in
Good.
the
And
in the
she was like,
comments. So
7 minutes. I'm like, okay. 11 minutes. Like, that's a long time. So you think it is, people are like, no way, no way, no way, yeah, way, I'm not thinking anybody new will be introduced to the case in that way, like an accomplice or anything like that. You can't get somebody to get on that MO with you. No way. No way. I mean, Bonnie and Clyde, okay, that was a little different.
Bonnie and Clyde. Now, is she talking about the actual Bonnie and Clyde, like the old time gangsters, or is she talking about the other two that are known as Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it's Barney and Clyde. You know, whether it goes back way back then or they're referring to Demetrius and whatever her name, Emily, whatever.
Emma.
Emma, yeah. That's what I think.
You
Weird.
know, but yeah, you're not getting, somebody's not getting on that crazy train with you. You're going to say, you're crazy. You are crazy.
Yeah, that would have come out by now, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mistrust
People
between the
always-
two.
do you
I
think- do you
mean,
think-
See, what he said right there. Mistrust between the two.
you're gonna throw this person
Yeah.
under the bus the first statement you say.
Mistrust between the two, and you're going to throw this person under the bus with the first statement you say. He knows something he's not telling.
Go back. I want to hear him say it again.
They're right next to
I
each
mean,
other.
sit for 14 minutes. Just sit. Put your clock on. And me and Olivia have done it before. And we're like, just sit inside. We're just going to sit here. And I mean, you know, we're like, how long has it been? And she was like, 7 minutes. I'm like, okay. 11 minutes. Like, that's a long time. You know, so you think it is, you know, people are like, no way, no way, no way. You know, yeah, way. You know, I'm not thinking anybody new will be introduced to the case in that way, like an accomplice or anything like that. You can't get somebody to get on that MO with you. No way. No way. I mean, Bonnie and Clyde, okay, that was a little different, you know, but yeah, you're not getting, somebody's not getting on that crazy train with you. You're going to say, you're crazy. You are crazy.
Yeah, that would have come out by now, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mistrust
People
between the
always-
two.
do you
I
think-
mean,
do you
and
think-
you're gonna throw this person
Yeah.
under the bus the first statement.
Right there. Mistrust between the two, and you're going to throw this person under the bus with your first statement.
Wow.
If there's not an accomplice, then why would he say mistrust between the two?
Yeah.
Something's
What do you think,
going on
Rock?
there. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And also, just why I have a chance, many people is sending me a lot of stuff in direct message,
Yeah.
and I will definitely get through it. There is no, if everybody's into this, because I'm interested in to keep going into these interviews, like for sure,
Yeah.
because I see something new every time. But we're not going to be able to do it all in one night. I got about 2 hours for me. Like, seriously. I think
Yeah.
lives longer than 2 hours is too much. And
Yeah.
and we'll schedule maybe another one right after we get through with this. But I do appreciate everybody that's sending me this stuff. And maybe me and Robert can get together and put that in another live and do this as a series. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Because even
Agreed.
this clip is really good. And again, here I watched it again and I found something even new. Like with
Mhm.
all these eyes on it and all these sleuthers, this is why we're doing it. Hopefully they're enjoying it too.
Now, what in the Rock? What do you think he meant by mistrust between the two? Being throwing him under the bus in his first statement. He's got to know something. He's got to know that there's another individual out there.
Or he assumes, I mean, if you think about it, when they were out looking, the occupants of the Elantra, occupants, not occupant, occupants. So somehow they always change it from one to something else. That's why we should continue to go over these interviews.
Yeah.
And I would like to go back to the first ones even.
Yeah. Suspect vehicle 1. If there was with just one vehicle, you would say suspect vehicle. You wouldn't say suspect vehicle 1.
Right. How do you
So-
have a 1 without a 2 or a 3 or a 4?
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. I agree.
Didn't you say?
And I don't worry about him, but my mind also thinks too that one day he's just going to say, we're backed in a corner. All of our emotions have been heard. We're done. I'm looking like a straight up fool right now because, you know, we got nothing. He can't even come up with an alibi. Let's talk about that for a minute. What happened with that? It was due.
Yeah,
It was
Idaho
due.
law
It was
says
due.
you
It was
have to
due.
give your alibi.
Yeah.
It was extended. It was
Or
extended. It was extended.
they explained to us, or you can't use one. So that would mean he couldn't say,
So right there. And then I was driving around. Yep, that was my white car that drove. Yep, that was me. But I didn't go in and kill those kids. Yep, that's
Yeah,
my.
you can't
Yep,
come
that's
up with
Can you
an
pause it for a
alibi
minute,
on
Robert?
in the courtroom. He just has to.
What?
Can you pause it? Listen, I don't find it strange that somebody goes driving around at night. You know, I've drove around at night.
Yeah.
He lived in an apartment. His neighbor
Yeah.
below him said he would vacuum. They could hear him. What's wrong with going and driving around at night? Maybe you wanted to just get some fresh air. Maybe you didn't want to keep the neighbors up below. He was living in an apartment, but I have a house. I load up my dogs and we go for a night drive. If I can't sleep and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, we go for a drive.
Sure.
I don't understand why that's a big deal.
Doesn't seem strange to me at all.
Me either.
And
And you know
see,
how
I'm
many
just
other
like that.
people I see driving at that time of night? A lot.
Right.
A lot.
I'm one of them sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, just like that, that night, there was cops all out in front, all out by his apartment because that girl ran over those two other students. There was ambulances, there was EMS, all by his apartment. So, I mean, yeah, that would keep him awake more than likely. And I don't understand how, if he's supposedly uh, left about two something in the morning. They had that shit on lockdown until 5:30 in the morning. That
Yeah.
entire area.
Listen, I want to say one other thing because I saw a remark way earlier and I was going to ignore it, but now I'm going to bring it up. They said in and harsh is a pothead. Listen, I have not
Okay.
taken any opiates. I have a medical marijuana license. I've had it for 11 years and I damn near died in 2018, and I don't take opiates. The gummies work for me. In Washington, it's legal. Okay,
Yeah.
it's legal. But in an apartment or on a college, you're not supposed to have it. So
Right.
who's to say that Brian didn't go drive somewhere? He was seen up on the hill from the police, supposedly, right? Who's to
Yeah.
say he didn't get out of his car and smoke a joint? It's not illegal. It's not illegal to smoke there. So I don't understand. You know, the whole phrase of pothead. I think of it as medical. Like, I really do. I think of it as medical. It has helped me medically. We wouldn't have the opiate crisis that we have now if it was legal everywhere. So I do get offended to the whole point of pothead. You never know why somebody is using that. In many states, it's legal. So I just wanted to touch on that
Yeah. No, it's okay.
while I eat my gummy, by the way. Anyway, go on.
Say,
Don't know how my sheet got there. I mean,
If he pled guilty and said, I'll plead guilty in exchange for a life sentence, have you thought about that?
yeah.
yeah, I don't want that because I do know I studied the criminal system and the difference between life in prison. Even if it's 20, 30 years, he's 23 hours locked up. He doesn't get to do what is it, BTK?
BTK killer
PTK.
or whatever.
We've found out that he writes papers for other prisoners and gets treated really well because he's intelligent.
Okay, pause that.
And he's
pause
able
that.
to
Pause that.
help.
Pause that.
Yeah.
That is not true. As a matter of fact, BTK, he don't get any newspapers. That was part of the deal when he did his plea. Okay, Nola Folston, the DA here, you can go back and watch his trial. He can't have any newspapers. No talking to like Dateline. None of that. He can't do any of that. And right now he's damn near dead. He barely even eats. They bring a shower to his cell. So to say that he's writing papers for everybody really annoys me because he's in a cell that whole time. He's supposed to get an hour out and he don't even want that. They bring a portable shower to him, and I know it for a fact. I mean, he's
Yeah,
literally 38 miles from us right now.
he's in Supermax.
But yeah, but he don't even get to mingle with other people. Like, so to compare them, and I see it a lot. The only thing they even had in common is that the professor wrote a book about the BTK. I mean, the BTK was bind, torture, and kill.
Yeah.
They're not even close to being together. Like, when people compare it, I lived through the BTK era. My grandpa was a sheriff through the BTK
Oh,
era,
bye.
and he was the attorney general through the BTK era. Like, this, when they throw that out there, I'm like, this is such bullshit. Like, quit. They're not even close. I didn't see anybody bind, tortured, and killed. Now, if they bring that up, then we'll go with it from there. But I don't see similarities other than the professor wrote a book about BTK. So
100%, totally agree.
Help other prisoners get preferential treatment through the legal system. We don't want that type of behavior to happen in our case where he has influence outside of this event. So
That's been a hard one, though. I mean,
he could write a book, he can do things. Idaho doesn't have a law particular that protects against that.
The hard thing with that question, honestly, is that's where you forget, and I don't know how it's possible, but you forget that there's 3 other families involved here. We're not the only ones. It's not just, I'm like, this is not a one,
One crime fits all.
This is
Right.
This isn't just our daughter.
Right. Some
and
might
I know
not
that
want to go through the trial.
I know some of the other families definitely would be, yes, like, let's go. Where do I sign? And I understand that 100%.
Now, is she putting down the other families for wanting him to take a plea for a life sentence?
It's hard to say that, but let me tell you the other thing to that particular part. So in the plea deal, if that's what ends up happening or whatever ends up happening, I don't think it'll go to a plea deal. But the DA, like Nola Folston, that's who was the DA. She's still alive. She actually does PFAs now. She's a judge. She put in the paperwork with the jurors so that he couldn't have TV, he couldn't have television, he can't write a book, he can't make any money. Like, that was all done in the sentencing. That could be done there in the sentencing. So to try to say all this about the book and all that, we're not even to that phase yet. We don't even know that he's guilty. Like, why are we already to a book and all that?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, but it just felt like that if the families want, if the other families like like the Mogans, the Kernodles, and the Chapins, if they don't mind him taking a life sentence, then they're happy. The Gonzalveses want to see him fry. They want him dead. That's the only thing.
Do they though? Do they though? Because you're going to see another interview that I saw of Steve, and he says if he's the one that did it,
Right.
then yeah, he puts that if in there. That's why I want to go through all these interviews because he says a lot. If it's him, I want to say it's like 3 interviews ago, like 3 court appearances ago, and they interviewed him, and he said if he's the one. And I was like, if. I kept rewinding it, and he sure does say if. We'll get to that in another one, but he does say if.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen an interview that not this interview, but another interview that Steve and Kristi has done. Kristi hasn't she made the statement in the interview that she would forgive Brian when he's off the planet.
Yeah.
She's a hurt mom, okay? She's a hurt mom, and Dave gave her the confidence that they 100% got the guy. So, listen, if it was me and I was like her, I would probably take that and go with it. But I'm the opposite. We're not all the same, okay? Everybody's grievance different and they handle things different. She's one of the ones that's going to believe what they're telling her. They're 100% sure. They've already told her they're 100% sure. Well, I'm not so sure Steve thinks that.
Yeah, because look at the look on his face. It's the face of a man with doubts.
It's also I'm looking at them right now and they're like, should I just let it go? Because Rock would, like, screw everybody. I'm just gonna take my consequences and just let it go. Like that's the look I get from him. Steve's like, Rock's in my head, and I should just say it. That's the look I see. Anyway.
100%, I understand that. But you know what? Ultimately, it's not our call. I mean, they might ask us our opinion like they did on the death penalty, and we'll give it. But just because, our opinion is yay or nay doesn't mean that, that's what we get.
And we have talked with the families to the point where we're like, let's never let this get so angry or ugly that we turn on each other and we're mad at each other. We got to respect that we're all going to
We're all different.
I'm going to
families.
fight crazy, and you're not going to agree with the way that I do things, but my heart's in the same place that your heart's at. You just have a different way of constructing your energy, and that's fine. I'm not asking you to be me, and I hope that you can understand that I'm going to be a different individual, different parent than you are, and we can all just agree that we're going to have different takes on it. Maddie's, her mom Karen, there's certain things that she's like, I hope this isn't, changing it. We're like, no, not at all. If you want to do a certain direction, or you don't want to do a certain activity,
My love for Karen and Scott will never die. Yeah. And that's a promise I make to
Karen and Scott. That's Maddie's mom and her stepdad, right?
Yeah.
Do they? I'm wondering if they mentioned Ben and Corey Hatrock in this too.
Well, Ben did an interview. I wasn't real happy with that interview that YouTuber did on Ben, but I mean, because he's obviously really hurting.
Yeah.
Again, let me say this: they can say what they want now, but say it comes trial time, and I'm just throwing this out there. This is not what's going to happen. I'm just saying this. But what if say it's a friend of one of them's good friend that came in and did this? Are you going to tell me that they're not going to try to blame that person? I mean, when you grieve, right now they don't have the answers, okay?
Yeah.
Usually when you have a death, even with a child, either it brings you closer or it splits you apart. Back to the Natalie Holloway situation.
Right.
Her parents was really in love, ended up divorced over it. Like, we can't tell you what's going to happen. Or if they say, hey, Ethan's friend came over, he did it. Are they going to blame Ethan? We can't say that. Like, for them to say that everything's going to stay the same and they're not going to be mad, that's one thing to say it now. But when evidence starts coming out, I think we're going to see a whole different thing. I hope not.
Hey, Ashley has a good idea. Guys, what do you want to watch next? What about the coroner report?
Yeah, we talked. Yeah, I like that one.
I like the coroner report. There's several more interviews we can do. Like,
Yeah.
it won't be tonight. We got to schedule them. But yeah, absolutely. And if you can't think of it now, be sure to go into the comments. Robert reads the comments even after the show. If you think of something, go in there and put it. If you're not a member of the Discord, hopefully somebody can drop the link to Robert's Discord. We got an Idaho 4 area in there. I mean, you can drop stuff in there. There's a lot that we can do. But we want to do what everybody wants to see.
Yeah, man, make sure you guys are smashing that like button too.
For sure. You worked hard on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now we got 64 watching and we got 37 likes in chat.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you guys would hit the likes. Robert put a lot of work into it. And I'm talking a lot. I need them likes too.
Both of our girls.
Yeah. Let's get some love for Rock Chalk.
Yeah, right. Come on now.
Thumbs up.
Ever. None of this legal stuff, no matter how left or right we go, or left or right she goes, or they go.
Yeah, I think people just grieve in different ways too.
Yeah, we're going to love.
I told Karen that. I said, we can't even agree on everything. How could we, expect us agree on everything?
Because I'm right, she's wrong.
Because I think at first,
Hear that? I'm right, she's wrong.
Right.
That happens. I mean, they're going through so much. There's going to be disagreements.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but she did admit earlier in the interview that they don't argue at all.
Listen,
I don't believe that one bit.
Yeah, but they're being interviewed. They're on their best behavior. They're grieving their daughter. They have no answers. They're going to disagree, but they're not going to do it on the live here. Not only that, then there's people like us that we're just going to come and, critique everything they do, because that's what we as sleuthers do. I love Big G's. Like, don't get me wrong, but I like to see what they're doing and what's off and what's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
With everything, the second that the girls died, it was like, what do you guys, we don't care. We'll do whatever you want. What are you guys, whatever you guys, like, I mean, everything. We were like, we just kind of handed the torch back and forth. Whatever, we'll do whatever you guys are doing, whatever you guys are doing, and, and then
it's a year later now.
Things are definitely not complicated by any means.
We still have dinners and things.
Yeah. I mean, but obviously bigger questions come up and beliefs and things like that. So, things do come up and, and it's fine. It's fine. But I don't know.
We promised to have a vacation all together when this is done with. Because I tell her, when this is done, I'll never talk to another TV station. I'll never do another. I will disappear, and I will be glad that when nobody recognizes and I don't have to do it. I can deal with it here in this. But I already told you one of the places that I'm going, and I hope to just find a place to just be a part of the community and just kind of disappear and just go fishing and hang out and be around.
And he can go on that trip, and he's going with our son, and I think that's great for them, and I'm super glad that he just is off my butt trying to make me go, because I think that I'd have a panic attack if I would go that far away. I'd be like, like I would lose.
We went to Priest Lake, and she was having a hard time, and that's just
I get a little
couple
panicky,
hours,
and it's terrible. I've never been that way. I've never, people that say, oh, I have panic attacks or anxiety things. Oh my God, stop. Like, get a hold of yourself.
My kids make you panic.
Anxiety attacks. It's real. It is real. I mean, I've had a few. Yep.
She'll just wake up and she's like, I'm having one. And I'm
I've had 3. And I literally wake up like just panic. I can't breathe. I'm like, I'm literally shaking uncontrollably. I'm trying to but I learned the first 2 were bad. He almost took me to the hospital. We were up in Priest Lake, and he was like, Kristi, you need to get a hold of yourself. Breathing is the trick, just trying to control that breathing. But, and just, and
the crazy thing is she doesn't have anything on her mind. Right. So if I came up and I had some vivid dream, then I'd be like, okay, I could, but she's just like, I'm like, what's going on? What are you thinking? She's like, nothing. And I'm like, well, clearly something's going on, but
maybe you just bottled it up and
it just expresses.
I don't know.
She's cuckoo.
I do have some really terrible dreams, and that.
I like hockey. Let's go.
How do that sucks, and they're always about Kaylee. Always.
Not always. Yeah, one about Autumn this morning.
Well, that she was saying, it's cold. Let me in the house. That was a little creepy. That was about Autumn this morning at my back door.
It's winter.
It seems like it would be hard to really try to figure out how.
Okay, that was weird. Did she have a dream that Kaylee was wanting in the house, or did she actually encounter Kaylee's spirit?
Yeah, don't ask me because I don't get into all that. So
yeah, I think she was talking about a dream, Robert. But who knows? Everybody has their own thing, right?
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
But move on with your life when the trial is.
You can't.
I mean, how are you supposed?
That's
to?
what I said. That's what I said to him. I'm like, I cannot move on right now. I cannot go on vacation. Don't take me too far away from my house. I mean, I'm glad that I don't work far.
Your whole life's pending, and you're hoping for a schedule. You're hoping for dates. That's why our legal counsel is so adamant on let's get some dates. He knows the families want their lives back. They need to have dates set in court, even if it gets postponed. We understand that, but knowing that these dates are laid out and they're not just today was a good example. It came out of nowhere. And then it basically ended with, we'll look at it. We're not exactly sure what we're looking at. Do we look at it all at once, or do we look at it separately? It's a lot of discovery right now, and we were hoping discovery would be over a year later. But we're not complaining that.
The Zoom today, I knew we were going to get a date, scheduling date for this FBI stuff, but I was definitely December 1st. What is it? Is it December 1st or 2nd? I mean, I was literally like, oh my gosh, I just like lost it. I just was like, I just cannot believe, like, oh, and everybody was just like, Kristi, it's better than yesterday. Yesterday, you guys had nothing, because yesterday we got the court date. Because so on Friday, we were like, so what's next?
Right.
Like, nothing. We hear nothing. And then all of a sudden, they dropped the bomb yesterday that, court tomorrow or something like that. And we're like, oh, yay, you know?
It's very,
and then
it's like a roller coaster.
So I'm like, and I'm like, you're right. It is a little, I mean, we're getting there.
outside
But these
perspective.
months are torture, at least for me, because I mean, I feel like part of it is I just torture myself with them, and I'm just like, I get that date in my head, and I'm like, December 1st. And I just try to get through the weeks. I'm like, just get through the weeks,
And I get active. I get involved. I know that I can find
And I just
more
want to pull the covers up over my head and just be like, leave me alone. Where am I?
Right there. I get active. I get more involved.
She just yeah.
He gets active and more involved, Rock Chalk. I think Steve is working behind the scenes on something.
Oh, of course he is. Why wouldn't he? I would be.
But I've noticed out of both of them, he's more animated than he is.
Oh yeah. Big time.
My dogs just.
I know you mentioned that that you guys wanted to get like her phone back. Is there anything else that like you guys were like, oh my gosh, I would love to have this?
We asked for a list of the things that they had to take, because we know of some things like a laptop, an Apple laptop, and a couple of things. We couldn't even get them to give a list. So
Of things that they had. And maybe it sounds stupid, but I
Electronics.
don't really know why Kaylee's phone is evidence. Like, what is on? So it makes me think, what is on it?
yeah, that makes you go cuckoo.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what is on it?
Her speaker, it's kind of unusual item not to give back. The laptops, multiple laptops, not just one.
Right there. Multiple laptops, not just one.
What about that speaker, you guys? Do you think that that's one of the things I was wondering about? Like, if I had Bluetooth on my phone and I just have it turned on all the time, and I walk into your house, like I get weird. If I went through and looked at like all the possible connections of like the houses that are right next to my house and stuff, I can pull up all of their Wi-Fi things. I'm sure my neighbor's speaker in the backyard came on one time when one of my friends was trying to play some music on my speaker, and it just came on. I was like, you got to turn it off. That's the speaker down in the next a house over. And that was weird. But do you think that they are keeping that speaker because it would have connection people on it, or they're keeping some of those things because of that?
Could be. Could be. They could have gotten some prints off of it. I mean, what do we know? I mean, right now, I thought they released property too early, honestly.
Mm.
See, just like Steve G said, multiple laptops. Why would Kaylee need multiple laptops? Maybe for
But-
school or
Okay,
for
wait a minute.
personal or something like
So
that.
he's saying multiple laptops. Why wouldn't Xana have a laptop? She's in school. Why wouldn't Maddie have a laptop? She's in school. Is he
Right.
specifically saying that they're Kaylee's?
Yeah.
Multiple laptops means multiple
He
laptops.
specifically said that they were Kaylee's.
Maybe he
Go
just
back.
got missed.
Did he really?
Maybe he's just kind of confused.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm just gonna say
part of it
a kid at
is
college would have
myself
laptops.
with them, and I'm just like, I get that date in my head, and I'm like, December 1st. I just try to get through the weeks. I'm like, just get through the weeks,
And I get active. I get involved. I know that I can find
And I just
more
want to pull the
information.
covers up over my head and just be like, just leave me alone. Where are my dogs? Just
I know you mentioned that that you guys wanted to get like her phone back. Is there anything else that like you guys were like, oh my gosh, I would love to have this?
We asked for a list of the things that they had to take, because we know of some things like a laptop, an Apple laptop, and a couple of things. We couldn't even get them to give a list. So
of things that they had. And I mean, maybe it sounds stupid, but I
Electronics.
don't really know why Kaylee's phone is evidence. Like, what is on? So it makes me think, what is on it?
yeah, that makes you go cuckoo.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what is on it?
Her speaker, it's kind of unusual item not to give back. The laptops, multiple laptops, not just one. All electronics, it seems like they've kept of hers.
Yeah, it does sound like he's been saying it from hers.
The amount of records on Kayla was probably, I think, fairly to say was more than the other victims.
Her bank statements that were more than the other victims.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say about that.
And he did say Kaylee's because they asked for a list of stuff that they could get back of Kaylee's, and on the list of not to give back was Kaylee's phone, which is being held as evidence, and Kristi don't know why Kaylee's phone is being held for evidence, and an Apple Watch, and then Steve said Kaylee's laptop, and then he corrected himself, says did he not? So he said multiple laptops.
Yes, and somebody in the chat said something about her having a work laptop and her, like, I know a lot of people that have more than one laptop when they have a work computer.
So curious where that's going to come.
If we got like her like. Her like wallet. Like,
we got things from her room. Her room really wasn't part of it.
I'm talking about like her wallet with her ID in it and her debit card. And
we have those items.
We have her ID.
And she had so many IDs. It's hard to. She had a lot of college IDs, a lot of high school IDs. So I don't.
You got that too, huh?
Yeah, but then he stepped back and explained what they were all for, I guess.
I don't know if I actually.
We all had a lot of IDs.
He just said, "I don't know if I actually seen it." Very interesting.
Multiple laptops, not just one. All electronics, it seems like they've kept of hers. So and her bank records, the amount of records on Kayla was probably, I think, fairly to say was more than the other victims. So curious where that's going to come.
If we got like her like.
I'm curious where that's going to go. Her bank records. I'm curious where that's going to go.
That's so strange. Why would anybody? I mean, that's all got to be digital information. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, this is an hour and 13 minutes, and we're at an hour and 4 minutes.
Let's watch some more.
Her like wallet. Like,
we got things from her room. Her room really wasn't part of it.
I'm talking about like her wallet with her ID in it and her debit card. And
we have those items.
We have her ID.
And she had so many IDs. It's hard to. She had a lot of college IDs, a lot of high school IDs. So I don't know if I actually. We all had a lot of IDs.
And right there, he said, "I don't know if I actually seen it."
Yeah. Weird.
I actually haven't gone through. My thing is because I'm very good about like just pretending like things didn't happen and like put it out of my head and pretend. And that's what I do with Kaylee, Kaylee's stuff. because we brought everything home. Well, we got a bunch of stuff home, and I went through like 2 things, and two boxes, and I literally couldn't go to work for like 3 days. I mean, I literally was like smelling everything and just like sitting on the floor. And my mom and his mom were like, we're going to go just get it up in Kaylee's room. Okay. So, I mean, I went to my room and I'm like, everybody just leave me alone and get away from me. And they packed it up there and put it all away. And then, I have not gone through any of it at all besides those 2 boxes. And I don't want to go through any of it. I don't know why. It just is so hard to go through that stuff. And when we went down to the house, or that little
When we picked up our
storage house
stuff,
that they had for us to go through, that was so hard to see their rooms like set up in this house and get the rest of their things. It was Kaylee's room. Kaylee was bedroom number 2. And I was like, my daughter doesn't even have a name. She's bedroom number 2. So everything marked bedroom number 2 was Kaylee.
That hurt her, knowing that her daughter didn't have a name.
Yeah.
You can tell it hurt her.
Yeah. Sad.
And that was hard. That was really hard. That was last summer. But I've only been up to Kaylee's room. I mean, it's right up there, right at the top of the stairs. I've only been up there twice. And neither time was for any amount of time. It was like in and out. Oops, in and out. Once was when Olivia was here. And
she's the fortress. She doesn't want the other girls to steal her clothes.
I don't want anybody going through her stuff at all. I'm just like, get out of there. Why are you wearing that? That's Kaylee's. That's all we have. That is it, you know. And it's just real. It's just so real sometimes. And
recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local.
It's just the worst that somebody can do this to somebody's family. So many families, you know.
But on the brighter side, when we do get those phones and we do get those laptops, we will have photos and memories that have been hidden from us.
Yeah, because I'm sure she has a ton of selfies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And you'll just have to like, I feel like you'll know when the time is right for you, when you want to go in there.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, right now, you know, I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, you got to know yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, my mother-in-law's been really working on it. She's here with us and she's been really like working on like, you know, getting it kind of, I'm like, I just want it to be like she left it. I wish I would have saw exactly how she left it, because things have been put in there and stored in there since, or pretty much her stuff.
All boxes.
So she's trying, she's like, I remember, you know, because she stays up there and she was here when Kaylee passed away. And she was like, I remember, do you want me to get it? Like, I can remember. And I'm like, yes, I want to see it. So she's there and she's like, I want you to come up and see it. And I'm just like, I've been like,
she put the TV where her TV was and her
and
pictures.
I'm just like,
and it was kind of Maddie's room too, because there was always Maddie stuff over in a certain corner.
Yeah.
All the pink was in one corner. And
yeah, Cheryl just, and she understands.
Kind of Maddie's room too. So was Maddie living there with them?
I was under that impression. It seemed like that, didn't it? Like maybe not.
Yeah. What do you think, Rockshot? You think Maddie was living there too?
She's not with us anymore. She's down chat.
And so, you know, she's not trying to push, but she said, you know, it helps me actually. She goes, I wasn't like super reluctant about going in there, but it actually helps me, you know, to go in there, but it is hard too. It's just like the car, seeing the car. It's a constant reminder, you know. I had a blanket. I took a blanket to work with me, and it was a beautiful blanket that somebody sent to us as gifts, and it was covered in squares of Kaylee and Maddie, all the best pictures ever. All the front was when they were younger, and all the back was all college days. And I would fold it perfectly so then it looked like a movie strip thing, and I kept it on the back of my chair. and I'm getting up and 100 times a day, and it's like lifestyle. I had to take it down after about a week. I'm like, I can't. I said, I'm gonna have to put you away. I said, I just can't. I love that blanket, but I'm like, it just is like, boom, you just turn around, and her and Maddie just like life size, and I'm like, I'll get you back out. But that constant, I don't need a constant reminder. I already have one,
That visual on top of it.
Yeah. But yeah, and my friends are at work. We're like, well, yeah, then put it away, for sure. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
No, I don't think you're crazy.
I don't know.
You're a mom.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I think when the time is right for you, you'll know, like, when you want to go in a room, or it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I hope, because I think Kaylee would want me to go in there and sit and go through her things and smell her stinky sweatshirts and stuff. But I don't know.
You can't rush it. Just take your time. And if just always put yourself in her position. If you were gone and she looked
That's
at
what everybody always tells me, and I'm like, that doesn't help me.
So she was looking at pictures of you, and it was making her upset. And she's like, "Mom, I'm gonna have to put this in the closet for a day. Would you wait?" No, you need to deal with my photo.
I would be like, Kaylee,
I'm not that bad.
You're really gonna put me in the dark closet?
Well, then
But I love you.
I mean, you've got her pictures everywhere. I don't think she's
right. And the kids are already like, Mom, things are getting a little shiny around here. And I'm like, and I'm like, no, okay, like,
how many Kayleys have you done?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not. It's perfect. Perfect.
So you can see there was a little bit of laughter at the end there. It's nice to see Kristi and Steve smile. But just being in their home, you can tell this is something that they're living every day, that their entire family is living, and that all the victims' families are living. Some are more private than others. Everybody grieves in different ways, but it's really just a difficult time. So my heart goes out to all of them, especially at the 1 year mark. In terms of the court case, there's no significant update right now. There's not another hearing scheduled. There's a deadline for the prosecution to turn over some of the investigative genetic genealogy records to the judge. That's December 1st. But beyond that, there's a lot of, everybody asks me, is there a trial date? When's the trial going to be? We really don't know. And if you heard in the interview, I mean, that's something that is agonizing for the families. So hopefully that'll all be sorted out soon. But thanks for listening. I hope that hearing that full extended interview gave you a sense of what these families go through, because I know a lot of us who follow the cases, we get really into all the little tidbits and following the court process, and sometimes you lose.
That was like, wow.
Yeah, it was a really good interview. Like,
Yes.
I enjoy watching it. Always find something new.
Yeah, absolutely. So many weird things.
Yeah, let's do a quick little recap on it before we shut the live down. I want to hear your opinions on it, Rock.
My opinions on that interview?
Yeah, especially some of the bullet points that I named out during the interview, especially with the whole BTK thing.
I don't find the BTK even close to the BK thing at all. Like, I lived it. I was here. Like, BTK was my husband's neighbor for 10 years. Like, I don't find him close at all. We knew his wife. Like, it really irritates me when they try to throw them two together, as far as that goes. Yeah. As far as the parents, you'll never see me talk bad about the parents.
No.
Like, I can't even imagine. I know that I have, my daughter's got a lot of friends that she went to school with that has passed from fentanyl. It's not uncommon for a parent to keep a room exactly the way it was, like in the house. And actually, honestly, it'll probably be that way till they die. and won't touch things. That is not uncommon because that's their safety and that's what makes them feel close to their child. I know too many people
Yeah.
that has that going on right now, so I don't find that weird. I don't find it weird that she don't want anybody touching Kaylee's stuff. Like, I get it, and that's how she deals with it. The Ben thing. I'd like to watch his video again too. It was a YouTuber that did it, and that's Maddie's dad, and that one was heart wrenching for me. And he went to the oh, that coffee place that everybody goes to. I'm not a coffee drinker, so
Mm.
Starbucks. And that one was hard. I just, I think we should watch more interviews. I agree with Ashley about the doing the corner thing. Listen, I don't have very high hopes for that corner at all. Like,
No.
the whole thought of throat punching comes to mind for me. That lady, when she crosses her arm and she's so defensive, like she's only telling what she's allowed to tell. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And I pretty much said throughout all of this exactly what I've thought about it. So, I mean, I'm glad that you showed it. It's one that me and Ashley's watched a couple times. It was one that every time me and Ashley watches it, we find something new. So, I hope everybody
Yeah.
enjoyed.
Yeah. Now, where do you think her and Olivia sat? Do you think they sat in their house, or do you think they went somewhere or went to the
I don't.
actual?
I think it's actually irrelevant. Um, Wherever Christy might have been comfortable with, like, and I wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
I think Olivia did a really good job with them, and I mean, to me, I don't think it's really relevant. I don't believe she sat in that room. I think that would have been too hard on her. Like
Yeah.
it'll be a long time before she enters that room, in my opinion. I just hope that the families are going through grief counseling. Surely
Yeah.
they are. I'm telling you right now, you can be the strongest person in the world, but this is
No.
a lot on your shoulders to try to handle. I
Yeah.
feel it.
No way. No way they're not seeking. Then I mean, I guess I don't know them, but I mean, God, that's something that I think they need, like necessary for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, this isn't a cut and dry case either. So then you've got all
No.
them emotions. Like, if they was to watch the show, I'd like them to know that we care about them. We also care about getting the right people. I mean, the
Yeah.
people
Oh,
who did
yeah.
this are person. If Brian did it, so be it, and put him before the firing squad. But as a parent, I myself,
What happened?
Oh, we lost her.
uh,
I saw
What
it. Oh, there she
I haven't went anywhere. I'm kind of visible, invisible, visible, invisible.
happened?
goes.
The invisible rock jock.
That's right. That's right. And
Okay, finish your statement about firing squad.
well, what I was saying is, so if they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Brian did this, then absolutely they can do the firing squad or anything else. But anything short of that, I'm not in agreement with. I'm still one that you're innocent until proven guilty, and you
Yeah.
must have the facts. Must have the facts. You want the right people charged. And I say people because I don't think one person can do it. But that's my only opinion. That's
Well, see,
mine.
just like where I get stuck up, or stuck on, is when Steve said that yeah that about the then when they were talking about somebody else involved, and Steve made the comment that the mistrust between the two between the two of them because of Brian's statement. Supposedly, did anyone else get arrested?
Let me discuss that too. The way they raided that house so hot and heavy, okay?
Yeah.
We wasn't there, but we saw the
No.
doors all busted and they're getting in there, getting him and getting him out. In my opinion, he very well could have been saying, like his parents, like, are you arresting my parents too? What did they do? Like, we don't know. We don't even know if that statement was made. But I'm just saying it very
Yeah,
well
I
could have
know.
been he was talking about maybe his sisters or his parents. Because I'm telling you that when they came in hot and heavy. in the middle of the night to do that.
No knock
I could,
warrant. 3 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, I could see where he would wonder, is anybody else getting arrested? Like, are you arresting my dad, or my mom?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just like AR made a very valid point. That one night we were on a panel together. Yeah, if by I'm not saying Brian did it, but if by chance something like that happened, his dad could be arrested for aiding and abetting because he flew from Pennsylvania and then drove back with Brian, crossing all those state lines. And then when they got back to Pennsylvania, Brian's mom fixed him something to eat. So that's kind of
Listen, it is not
aiding and abetting and
uncommon.
known, huh?
It is not uncommon
Yeah, I know.
for even my 33-year-old daughter, if she wants to go down to Mississippi to see her dad, to say, "Will you drive me?" Or her get down there and say, "I can't drive back." I don't find it odd
Yeah,
that his dad rode with him. And listen, we're from an aircraft town. I know many people that build these planes and will not fly. Period. So maybe Brian don't fly. So maybe his dad came. That's a long trip to go by yourself.
yeah,
I think that's a good parent. He wanted to ride with him and ride with him home. They had that storm coming in. That's why they came down further south and went across.
yeah,
They added extra hours. Like, I
And
don't find it strange that the dad came and rode with him.
he
yeah,
shouldn't be doing that drive in December, anyways. Like, dang, that's a crazy time of year to make that road trip.
yeah,
No, but there's nothing like going home and being able to have your own car and do your own thing. You know,
For
I don't know
sure.
what all was going on. It's pretty hectic. There's a lot of coincidences. You got the BK and just, Brent going on. They might not be connected. They might be connected. But I'm just saying, if my daughter come over right now and said, "Hey, I'm driving to California," I'd be like, "By yourself?" Oh no. And she's 33 years old.
Right.
So to throw the dad in the mix because he rode with his son, I don't think that's fair.
No, I don't think it would be fair either. I don't see it. Like, because I'm pretty sure that they pre-planned that trip too, anyways, and it just
yeah.
doesn't seem like something that the dad would be culpable for. Like he was just going to pick
Mm.
up his kid.
Right.
Well,
And
just like
I see Jeff
my
saying might want to get to Alana out of the area. You know what? I'm still not over the Oregon Elantra. Like, I'm still stuck with
oh,
that
neither am
Oregon
I.
Elantra. So, you know, maybe they want to get the Jeep out there. Who
Right.
cares?
Right.
It's the car he drives, and he wanted to get home. Most people want their own wheels when they go home. That's just how it went. We don't even know how long break was going to be before, this
No,
happened. Whatever.
I love you, Rock Jock.
Well, I'm just being honest. Thought we're debating here, so I'm debating
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Listen, you guys are going to get lucky. I have a major dental procedure tomorrow. I just might not be able to talk for a while, so lucky you.
No.
Now, you never know. We'll
we
see
like
how it
I like
goes.
I like to hear you talk.
That's crazy because I don't even like to hear myself talk. So I honestly don't go back and watch any lives I'm on. That's the truth because I can't stand to hear myself talk.
Yeah, it's weird.
So are we going to plan another live? Are you guys going to do that another time, Robert, or do you want to set that up?
Well, we can. Won't you stick around? Yeah, yeah. After the live chat ends, and we can discuss that on here. Um,
Sure.
guys,
Not the
thanks for
dentist.
tuning in.
Ooh, it is the dentist.
Thanks
Yeah.
for tuning into our live tonight. Make like always, subscribe, and share the channel, and hit that bell notification for any new uploads. Uh,
Hey,
this uh, this is True Crime Cult, Rock Chalk, and Sophie. Peace out.
Robert,
Bye,
you sure you
guys.
don't want to do a mod meeting?
Oh yeah,
Did he leave us already?
I think so. I'm like, Ashley, come on.